Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome along to the Sports Corner Live for what is, I think I've got to say, the biggest day in the footballing calendar so far this year. This is the day I think most fans in Liverpool and in Scotland and around the world have been waiting for. It is Derby Day, and it's not just one derby we've got. We've got two kicking off in just under 15 minutes' time. Everton, they take on Liverpool in what is probably the biggest Merseyside derby that there has been in the last decade. It's the 234th iteration of this derby. The question is, will Everton come out on top tonight, or will Liverpool, who of course lost 7-2 to Aston Villa before the international break, bring back their dominance into Liverpool? And of course, there is one other derby going on at the same time. It is the Old Firm derby, a derby that is not short of confidence, not short of tackles, and not short of red cards. This is a mammoth of a fixture, probably the greatest derby in world football, which is something we will talk about at half-time. The question is, with both sides unbeaten, who is going to win the first Old Firm derby of the season? And before, of course, we go into the games and everything, I'm delighted to say I'm joined today by Kieran L. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I'm looking forward to these games. Derbies always mean a little bit more for players and for teams and for cities. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one's going to go. How about yourself? Are you looking forward to it?
Very hyped indeed. I think, as I said before, this is the one day in the calendar which is noted down in every Everton, Liverpool, Celtic, Rangers fan. You know, Old Firm derbies and Merseyside derbies, they are just massive and incredible games of football. And they do kick off in just under 15 minutes' time. So over the next 15 minutes, we're going to talk through the teams, talk through the lineups, talk through these fixtures, of course, a couple of little things here and there. And then, of course, as the games do kick off, we're going to both be covering a different game each. So I'm going to be covering the Old Firm derby, and Kieran L is going to be covering, of course, that Merseyside derby, which does kick off in about 10 minutes' time. So without further ado, as we are pushing for time, let's have a quick look at the lineups and give you a rundown of these two derbies in terms of their teams. And starting off, of course, with the Merseyside derby. This is the lineup today for Everton as they go for a 4-3-3 to match up to Liverpool's usual formation. Jordan Pickford, he is in goal, of course, started for Everton all this season so far, made a mistake in his previous game against Brighton. Will he make a mistake today? We'll have to find out. A back four of Digne, Michael Keane, Yerry Mina, who has been deemed fit for today's game, and of course the veteran of the team, you could say, Seamus Coleman. Midfield three, you've got Andre Gomez, he's back in the lineup today. Allen, who's also been confirmed to be fit, and Abdoulaye Doucouré. And then up top, it's a front three of Richarlison on the left-hand side, Calvert-Lewin in the middle, of course, the Premier League's top goal scorer so far, and then James Rodriguez, who has been on fire since his move from Real Madrid. So that is the Everton lineup. This is what Liverpool are shaping up today. As we said before, a 4-3-3 as always for the away team. Adrian is in goal, a back four of Andrew Robertson, Van Dijk, Joel Matip, who is one of the only two changes in their team from Aston Villa, and Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Midfield three, Thiago, he's back and fit again, of course, had coronavirus. He's all good and well now to play in today's derby. Fabinho and Henderson, of course, the two regulars in Liverpool's midfield. And then up top, of course, it was the usual front three of Mane, Firmino and Salah. You've got to say, Kieran, trying to both match each other up on paper in terms of formations and tactics, is this the toughest derby to call in recent years?
Yeah, I think it is. I think, you know, we were talking the other day, the last couple of years, actually, they haven't really been blowaways. If you look at, I remember the title losing campaign of Liverpool's when they were in the lead, you know, I think it was 1-0 and 0-0. And so these games are never really going to be blowouts. I know they had the game when Marco Silva was in charge that was, but it's a different Everton now. They've got a different team, different style, but they have tried to match Liverpool player for player. And we said this is the first time in a while where they can try and match them player for player. And the deficit between the two teams isn't as large as it used to be. But confidence will be a massive thing, no matter what shape is. You know, one's coming off a 7-2 loss, one's flying at the top of the league, yet to be defeated or even draw. So massive, massive game.
Absolutely. It's a big game indeed. There's already a few people in the chat. Prince of the Underground, he says, hello, welcome in, Prince of the Underground. Hope you're all good. And Bernardo's put, come on, you Everton. We know he is supporting today, of course. So they are the two sets of lineups for both teams in the Merseyside Derby. As we said before, there is another derby going on, which I'm going to be covering. It's the Old Firm Derby. These are the lineups for Celtic and Rangers. Starting off with the home side, Celtic, of course, they're going for a 3-5-2 today in their game. Recently news signed goalkeeper from AEK Athens, Barkas, he's in goal. They've changed up the system quite recently, so they're going in with a back three, a Old Firm debut for Shane Duffy. And then alongside him is Christoph Ayer and youngster Welsh. Interesting choice there for Neil Lennon. Midfield 5, Frimpong on the left-hand side. Oliver Encham was linked with a move away from Celtic to Bordeaux. He stayed in the end. Scott Brown, Callum McGregor, and also another player debuting today in the Old Firm Derby. Lacks out the AC Milan former winger, now at Celtic. He starts for the first time for Celtic today. What a way to start off your career at the club in an Old Firm Derby. And then up top, you've got Klimala, the young Polish forward, and El Yunusi, both starting as strikers today. You're going to be interested to see how they both do up top, of course. Klimala is a recognised striker. El Yunusi technically isn't. Usually plays on the wing, so I'll be interested to see how they both connect together. No Odsonne Edouard. He's not available, of course, was with the France under-21s. He was actually out of the coronavirus shielding, so technically he could have had an opportunity to play, but hasn't been picked today, so we're not going to see any Odsonne Edouard. And then this is the Rangers lineup. It's a 4-3-3 today for Steven Gerrard's side. McGregor, he is in goal, of course, ever-present goalkeeper that he always is in the Scottish League. Back four of Barisic, Helander, Goldson and Tavernier. Be interested to see how they do today. Of course, Barisic and Tavernier, two very attacking fullbacks for Rangers. Midfield three, you've got Scott Arfield, Stephen Davies and Glenn Kamara. And then up top, it's the ever-present front three of Ryan Kent, who's been one of the best players so far this season in the Scottish League. Brandon Barker, former Manchester City player. And up top, he has never scored in this fixture before, Alfredo Morelos. I know, of course, you're going to be covering the Liverpool game, but Old Firm derbies are never short of drama, are they?
No, they're not. And with family from Scotland, I know just how important this game is to especially one side of the rivalry. And I remember I've been in Scotland to watch the Old Firms, and these games don't have a feel like any other game. You know, I think in the Scottish calendar, it means more than just a derby as well, because let's be honest, these two are going to be fighting for the title. So this is already an impetus to put your marker down, even though we're not that far in. So usually the teams that come out on top in the Old Firm have the advantage when it comes to the league positioning. So it's so much more. But are you looking forward to it? Because, of course, you're covering the Old Firm, and obviously, how are you feeling about the Merseyside Derby as well?
I mean, the Old Firm Derby, as we said, is never shy of drama. And I think that's what makes it so special. I think it's one of those derbies in world football that it is one of the most appreciated for the fact that it's massive, isn't it? This isn't just about the game itself. This is one of those derbies that is built up over weeks and weeks. You know, you get to the month of when a derby's going to be, and you know it might be the end of the month, but they're already talking about it at the start of the month. They're getting ready, they're planning, and it's very different to what we usually see at Old Firm derbies. Of course, both games behind closed doors. Liverpool, Everton have already faced off against each other in a Merseyside derby behind closed doors. They know the experience. As for Celtic and Rangers, this is the first Old Firm derby that has been behind closed doors because of the pandemic. So it's a very, very different atmosphere to what we would usually expect. But I think we will expect a feisty derby either way. And then going on to the Merseyside derby, I think, as I said before, they already have played behind closed doors. So the experience there has already been experienced. They don't have to worry about what it's going to be like without a crowd. And I think Everton fans can be optimistic because, as you said before, they haven't lost a game all season. They're at the top of the league right now. The pressure is on Liverpool today, not Everton. You know, Everton could go out there and try their very best. Well, for Liverpool, after that 7-2 loss, they've got to bounce back, or else there'll be questions starting to be asked about Klopp, which is absolutely bonkers. And it'll be about the team as well, rather than just Klopp. But, of course, every loss at this stage could become so vital at the end of the season. So I think the pressure's on Liverpool tonight. I don't know whether you agree with me on that or not.
Yeah, I think luckily we're still early in the season, so in the Premier League, I don't think this result will, you can't come out of here today and if Everton win, go, well, that's it. They're going to go on a title shaft. They're going to be in the top four.
No.
It's too early for that. But again, they can go out there and they can say, what have we really got to lose? We're not expected to finish top anyway. Of course, that's the dream for every Premier League club. But just so it depends. Put in a good performance today and show everyone else what you're about. You can beat the lesser side, your West Brom and stuff, and that's fine. But if you can beat the former league champions and your rivals, I think we need to start taking this Everton team a little bit more seriously.
And the thing is as well, this is Everton's biggest test. They haven't had one of the big major six yet. So, today they've got to go out there and they've got to really prove themselves and show, like you said, that if they can go and win this match, you have to start taking this Everton side seriously.
Well, Ronaldo won't be happy because they played Tottenham and you've just said they've not played the big six. So sadly, Ronaldo, you must be 7th on the list.
But, technically, Tottenham didn't really turn up that game. I think Ronaldo could agree with me on that one. He did ask whether James Forrest was still injured. He's still injured, so he's not available for today's game. But before the teams do come out, because the game is going to kick off in a few minutes, the Celtic and Rangers players aren't out yet. Here's a few stats for both of the games. So the Everton-Liverpool game, of course. Everton haven't won in 19 Premier League games against Liverpool. They've drawn 11, lost 8. The last time they won was a 2-0 win, courtesy of goals from Mikel Arteta and Tim Cahill back in October 2010. So a long, long time since they've won in the Premier League against Liverpool. 7 of the last 8 Premier League meetings between Everton and Liverpool at Goodison Park have finished level, with Liverpool only winning one of those in December 2016. That was a 1-0 win. And not a stat you really want to see, Kieran, ahead of the game, but last 3 Premier League meetings between both sides at Goodison Park have finished 0-0. There hasn't ever been a fixture in English top flight history that's had 4 games in a row where they've been goalless. So maybe today we might see a goal frenzy.
Or we're going to be history makers. Either or. I am proud to be sat here making history with this apparently very dull fixture.
It's a history for the wrong reasons, you could say. But let's hope that maybe that can get washed away with a goal in the first couple of minutes. So there's a few stats on the table for this game, not necessarily been the most interesting of fixtures in terms of goals over the last couple of seasons, but it has had its fair share of moments. And talking about fair share of moments, these are some stats on the Old Firm Derby as the players are just coming out now. The last Old Firm Derby to end goalless was back in 2017. There's been 10 Old Firm fixtures played since then, 27 goals between those 10. So we're not short of goals in the Old Firm Derby. It's quite the opposite compared to the Merseyside. Yeah. Both Rangers and Celtic currently unbeaten in the league. Rangers currently sat top of the league on 26 points. They've played 10 games, won 8 of those, drawn 2, lost none. Celtic, they've only played 9 games, but they've won 8 and drawn 1. Of course, one of those games was called off because of certain people not complying to coronavirus kind of rules and things like that. So they will have that extra game in hand to play at some point. And then a fun fact, of course, these games are not short of cards. In the last 5 Old Firm derbies, there's been 4 red cards given out. There's been 3 red cards in the last 3, with a total of 22 yellow cards between those 5 fixtures. It is a very feisty match, probably one of the most feistiest derbies in world football. You'll have to agree.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I think that's always something to watch. One person to always watch for that is Scott Brown. He's a leader, but he's also fearless in terms of how he plays the game. I don't want to say he has a tendency to get booked, but if I had money on a bet, I'd put Scott Brown to get booked, and I think you'd be walking all the way to the house with your winnings. I'm not going to lie.
I do agree with you on that one. But depending on how Spurs perform, we will see where we land. Joe Rodon coming in should be a big help for us. I want Everton to win. A change of pace is good in the Merseyside Derby. Beyond that, I thought last year was a massive transfer window for them. That should have yielded a better result. And of course, when you compare it, they only bought 3 players in this season, technically 4. And they've done so much better.
Yeah, I think that's Carlo Ancelotti. I think that's what it is. I adore Marco Silva, always will, for what he did in a short. Well, not adore, for what he did in a short time at my. At my team, he almost kept us up. So, but he just never learned at Everton. And now I think that was the first biggest statement from Everton. Yes, these signings are fantastic, but the addition of Carlo Ancelotti was the first marker to say, we've had enough being the laughing stock that's spending a shit ton of money and going nowhere. Now they need to start putting that onto the pitch.
And talking about putting that onto the pitch, we have kicked off in the Celtic Rangers game. I assume we've kicked off in the Everton Liverpool game.
No, we are just taking the knee. So, but after that, we will be kicked off in this one.
But here we go. This is it. Two of the biggest fixtures, not just in English football, but in world football. Everton take on Liverpool in probably the closest Merseyside derby in the last decade. As for Celtic and Rangers, every Old Firm derby tends to be quite a decent game. And 40 seconds in, we have a free kick here in a very good position for Rangers. Could they take the lead after 2 minutes? We'll have to find out. But Tavernier is going to put the ball into the box. It's a very powerful effort, and it's going to have to be cleared here by Frimpong. Hasn't cleared it well, and it's come back to Connor Goldson, who finds himself on the far right-hand side. Tries to loft the ball into the box, and eventually it's deflected away, out for throwing. Early chances there for Rangers.
Yeah, and as you said about feistiness, 2 minutes in, you had a free kick straight away. We've got a free kick here. It was a contested ball between James and Van Dijk. James gets there first, and Van Dijk just body checks him, but no flurries into the attacking third just yet for either team.
It's so exciting. We love derby days. It's special, isn't it? I think even as a neutral, you come into these games just more excited about them because, they're two big rivals. And as I said before, very similar to what I said earlier about the Celtic Rangers one. I think there's so many people out there that just sit and watch these games that probably don't ever watch the Scottish Premiership or any of the other games.
No, I think I'm one of them, to be honest with you, unless I'm up in Scotland. But another foul given away by Van Dijk here. Calvert-Lewin gets the ball first. He's got to go through the back of the man to get there. So not a nervy start from Van Dijk, but very nitty to start the game after a minute and 40 seconds. But they've nicked the ball through. Thiago's through for Salah. Michael Keane gets there first. It's a tense start though here. Everyone feels a little bit nervy.
Tense start there. It's a bright start here because Celtic just getting a bit of a flurry of possession. Laxalt on the far left-hand side. I said before, first time he's played for Celtic this season. In fact, first time playing in an Old Firm derby as well. And he's just bombing forward on the left-hand side. Some good defending from Tavernier to get the ball back. But both teams looking to push forward.
It's a goal!
Goal!
It's a goal, and I'll tell you what, it was a chip ball over to Manny. It was over the top of his head, but it fell to Robertson. He tapped it past Seamus Coleman. It deflected to the cross, squared it into the box, and Sadio Mane volleys it home.
Well, we talked earlier about, wanting an early goal in this game. It's been one of those fixtures where if it had stayed goalless today, it would have been the first ever match in English top flight history to finish with 4 0-0s in a row at Goodison Park. But just like that, Liverpool 1-0 to the good. What a start.
Yeah, it's Andy Robertson down the left, providing the width as he always does for this team. And it's a lovely square ball. There's no one within 2 yards of Mane either side, and there's no saving that. And that is the worst possible start for Everton, but the best possible start for Liverpool. But they are coming forward now, and it'd be offside. Sorry, I thought we had a chance there, Josh.
It's all right. Celtic coming forward here. I mean, what a start in that game for Liverpool, making it 1-0 after about 3-4 minutes on the clock?
Yep. Exactly that. About if I was being specific, about 2 minutes, 50 seconds, probably.
What a start! Great way to begin it. And first, we're getting towards the 5th minute mark of this game. And apart from that free kick opportunity from Tavernier that was launched into the box, it's been a very cagey start. As we said a moment ago, a few tackles flying in. Brandon Barker had a slight foul on Scott Brown that the referee didn't give. And of course, in a fixture like this, there's some certain tackles that will probably be let off compared to other games just to let this game flow. But how many yellow cards do you think we're going to get in this game? I think we're going to get 6.
Oh, I was about to go with 5. So I think relatively busy day for the referee, and maybe I was thinking of odds on a red, to be honest with you.
Well, that's the thing. For the last 3 Old Firm derbies, there's been 3 red cards. So it'd be interesting to see if we do get one today. But opportunity?
Yeah, it was almost 2. It was Manny on the left-hand side. He putting an in-swinging cross after receiving the ball from Robertson. Henderson made a driving run from midfield, but Digne covered very well. He had to cover both Firmino and Henderson, and he heads it wide for a corner, I think, to Liverpool. Bright start and a bright bounce back from this Liverpool team.
Interested to see how it goes. Of course, we said before that 7-2 loss against Aston Villa was certainly a shock, not just to Liverpool fans, but to everyone in general.
And again,
we had a chance.
I'm sorry to rob the bloody limelight here, Josh. I do apologise.
It's been a better start than the Old Firm here.
Yeah, the ball's recycled and Fabinho lobs it back in. It's a lofty ball towards the back post. Van Dijk comes to get it, and I tell you what, he's offside, but it's definitely a penalty. Jordan Pickford has come and genuinely scissored Van Dijk's knee. That's definitely a penalty, and and I'm not surprised he stayed down a little bit afterwards. But luckily, he's offside.
Is the referee giving it? Oh, offside.
No, it's offside. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if it's not offside, Jordan Pickford is very, very lucky that he's offside, because that is a penalty clear as day.
Ooh.
As he
Buffalo's in the box, tries to launch a ball in, finds no one. It lands at the feet of Barisic. He takes the shot on, and yeah, not much really going to say about that shot there. Really, really poor indeed. But I mean, I'll talk about that opportunity in a moment. But I mean, Everton could have nearly gone 2-0 down after less than 10 minutes. It's a very poor start from this Everton side compared to what we've expected so far in the Premier League.
Yeah, Liverpool have come out 100%. This is the Liverpool you expect to see. I'm just looking back at this tackle, and it does not get nicer.
Bernardo's put that looks no good from Pickford.
It doesn't. They are checking that it is offside. They've marked this from here. That's not offside, is it? The bottom of your elbow. That's top of your elbow. I thought it was your shoulder. They've marked that from there.
I mean, if they've probably changed the rules up again overnight, it wouldn't surprise me if they have.
I mean, I'm not sure that's where is now valued as offside. I'm pretty sure for my time, it was anything that can score a goal, and you can. Oh well, I guess you can score a goal from there now, can't you?
Yeah.
What's the rules, Josh?
Honestly, I don't know what the rules are, but I think there's been a free kick given here for Rangers, about 35 yards out, and as I said before, it has been a cagey start, as you'd expect. Two teams really coming in with the fouls. It was a poor ball from Scott Brown, actually, that landed at the feet of Alfredo Morelos. It looked like it was going to lead to a counter-attack, but I believe Stephen Davies just was fouled in the build-up. So this is in a good position to whip this in towards the middle section of the box. And as I said before, Morelos has never scored in an Old Firm derby. It is today the day for him to finally do it. But
I remember watching him a couple of years ago. He couldn't hit a barn door in an Old Firm. He was missing open net.
He couldn't, and it's in! It's 1-0 Rangers. It's Connor Goldson, and it's the start that they desperately needed. They won this fixture last year. Steven Gerrard, he keeps calm. Of course, we're only 8 minutes into the game, but Rangers have the start they needed, and it's a great finish from Connor Goldson. 1-0 Rangers. Oh, when there might be calls here to check this for offside. I think that Goldson is just on. They are going to check it. I don't know in this situation, but it looks like the goal's going to stand either way. And Connor Goldson, with a lovely header into the bottom right-hand corner of the net, makes it 1-0 Rangers. We've got a good start in both the fixtures here. We
have definitely an early goals, and do you think that's exactly what Rangers needed? Put Celtic on the back foot as they are away from home.
Exactly. I absolutely agree with you on it. I think they've got to put the pressure on Celtic, because the last thing that Rangers want is for Celtic to go 10 in a row in the league. That'd be quite embarrassing. Not necessarily for Rangers, but for the league in the fact that they've been able to win it 10 years in a row. And I think if they want to win the title, they have to win these games. They have to pretty much win all of them, because we know what Celtic are like.
They won the game last year, though, didn't they? And they couldn't quite get over the line in terms of the league due to, he got suspended. So I guess maybe it could have happened, but
and Celtic just ran away with it as well at the end.
Yeah, it's usually a good marker though to say hopefully you can push on from here. It's the other games. If you win these ones, you've just got to kind of beat the the Ross Counties and the Motherwells, the Aberdeens, all them teams. But Celtic's the big one.
Absolutely, they're coming forward again here. Rangers, been a bright start. El Buffalo just at the edge of the box, flicks the ball up to Tavernier, hit it on the volley. Oh my God! Well, that would have been an absolute strike and a half. And Tavernier has had such a bright start in this game. The ball is, as I said, flicked up from El Buffalo at the edge of the box. It looks Tavernier's just at the far right hand side, just very similar range to Antonio Valencia's goal against Everton a couple of years ago. Hits it on the volley. Barkas he's struggling. I think a little bit more curl on that, and it would have been 2-0 Rangers after 10 minutes.
Well, big news in this one is that Van Dijk's not going to return. He is being subbed off due to that tackle via Jordan Pickford, probably a knee injury. We don't know the seriousty or the extent of it right now. But Joe Gomez has come on for Virgil van Dijk, and that is a massive storyline for this game so far. Because how much does that... Do you know it's one of them, Josh, right? I know you don't watch the NFL, but we lost our most important player on the weekend, and the opposition just perked up immediately because they thought, we've got a chance now. Do you think that's what might happen to Everton? Just everyone's confidence lifted a little bit as they come forward. With Charlison on the left, he's driving at Matip. Squares inside, gets the ball in. It's just cleared. But what do you think?
I think they will. I think there is a lot of Liverpool fans which did question Joe Gomez in that game against Villa for some of the tactical decisions that he made in terms of his defending. And I think there'll be a lot of Liverpool fans right now who will be a little bit more nervous now that he's come onto the pitch because, we know Van Dijk's 100 times better than Joe Gomez. But, of course, the back line is fairly weak when you look at Gomez and Matip, in my opinion, compared to Van Dijk. But as you said, maybe it does perk up Everton a little bit here and they try and come out on the front foot a little bit more and get that equaliser.
Yeah, it's what we said. They needed another centre-half. I think that's what they've been missing for a while, is that partner to Van Dijk. And Fabinho's slotted in there a few times when he's not done bad. But Gomez's first action really was to get the block, but then be beaten for a header by Calvert-Lewin. So, again, hopefully we're not picking up where we left off with Joe Gomez, because I do believe he's still got a lot of potential.
Well, Rangers are in the box here. There's an opportunity from Ryan Kent. He's on the right-hand side. Gets into the middle of the box, tries to curl the effort on goal, but it's a little bit of a tame shot, goes straight into the hands of Barkas. But this first 15 minutes, it's Rangers now. They've got that goal that they wanted in this game, and they're starting to get a bit of a foothold.
Jordan Pickford has to come and punch. I feel like both games have been quite entertaining to start, as Robertson taps it past his man on the left, crosses it in Firmino's head. It's just past the post, but yeah. These games are never not 100%, are they?
No, I think even if you look at the Merseyside derbies, to be honest, over the last couple of years, I know on stats they look fairly boring, but there's been some fairly good matches in the past. I think you'll always look back at the Divock Origi game in terms of the Pickford mistake. Sadio Mane's late winner as well a couple of years ago. That was a memorable winner for Liverpool. So they're not necessarily thrillers in terms of goals of the last couple of years, but there has been classic moments. And a worry here for Rangers, Alfredo Morelos looked like he might have picked up an injury here. It looks like, fingers crossed, he'll be okay to come back on, but one of the best players is down with a little bit of a hobble right now. Which is not what Rangers want.
I know we didn't put the bench up on the graphics, but did he have Kamar Roof on the bench?
Oh, there's a mistake at the back. Oh, he should have scored. How was El Yunusi not scored? Well, he's not a recognised striker, but there was a long ball by Christophe Ayer, which Connor Goldson is up against El Yunusi. He just misreads the flight of the ball, Connor Goldson. It comes down to El Yunusi. McGregor obviously recognises that the opportunity is going to take place, so he comes out of his goal. He chips in, and his chip is awful. way over. And, Goldson could have gone from hero to villain within the space of 10 minutes. So unlucky. And they're coming forward once again here. Laxalt tries to lob a ball into the box. It's come towards Encham, who hits it on the half volley. Slight deflection from Helander. It's been lobbed back into the box again. Doesn't really last out, and it goes out for a goal kick. Lively. It's what we love to see from these derbies. Lively, attacking threats from both sides.
But if you're Rangers, you don't want to be seeing mistakes like that from your goal scorer, Connor Goldson. But they're still in the lead, and that's all that matters.
Exactly. Rowan's in the chat says out, lads, who scored for Liverpool and Rangers. For Liverpool, it was Sadio Mane. For Rangers, it was good old Connor Goldson. And then Jamie's in the chat. You're all good, Jamie. Says, who's going to win the Old Firm? Oh, who do you think is going to win it?
I'm always going to back Rangers due to family ties. So Rangers.
I mean, with his first 15 minutes, I would have said Rangers, but there's always something about Celtic, isn't there? They have that grit and steel to get back into games, but it's so weird without fans, isn't it? It's a shame because I think in places like Scotland and Liverpool, by now, in my opinion, we should have had a couple of thousand fans back in the stadium social distancing. Yet we're now sat here in October. Leagues across European football have got fans back. Yet England and Scotland doesn't have any.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it, Josh? It's one of them where you just got to sit back and go, sadly, it is what it is. But I always believe that in games specifically like that, I don't know about you, like the Scottish League may not be the best in quality, but in terms of them two sets of fans when they're at home, they could rival any sets of fans in the world, no matter what the quality of football is.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's something that actually Sky Sports had said before the game had kicked off. The thing is, with these types of games, you can put tactics out for players to commit to. But, the first 5 or 10 minutes, if it's a new player starting, for example, Welsh today, he's starting, and Laxalt, both on their debuts for Celtic in an Old Firm derby, tactics can go out of the window.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Josh. It was a long
ball,
but Lewin, he got over the top of Joe Gomez. His touch was immaculate. Cut in his left, but the shot was tame. I was wondering whether he could get one away, but it seemed to come off his ankle rather than he's forwarded it straight into the hands of Adrian. Continue your point. I apologise.
Well, I'll continue my point in a second because Ryan Kent's coming forward here. He's made Laxalt slip, lobs the ball into the box towards Morelos, who he's now back on and is okay, which is good to see, but nothing comes of it. But I think tactics could just go out the window. The ruthlessness and the noise and the sound of the Celtic and Rangers fans can be so off-putting to players that I think sometimes in these fixtures, original tactics can just go out of the window. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about fans is like, they can affect a player no matter what you think, really. They may think it's just noise in the background, but if you get the whole way every time you touch the ball, that's going to play on your mental thing, and it might force you into either a mistake, force you into a tackle because you're angry and you'll get sent off. So I agree completely that it's not just play a 4-3-3 and stick to this all game, because they never will.
No, exactly. We've got a corner here for Rangers. Of course, we've already seen a set piece today end up in the back of the net, courtesy of Connor Goldson. Tavernier is going to whip the ball in. It's a good ball indeed. It's an in-swinging one, which hasn't reached anyone. But Ryan Kent has been able to intercept the ball from Olivier Encham. It's landed at the feet of Alfredo Morelos, who's just gifted the ball back to Callum McGregor. And Celtic try and counter-attack.
Calvert-Lewin is on the right. He's the only man in the box. Goes for the near post. And Adrian saves. But what a pass from James Rodriguez in behind the fullback in the centre half, between the channel where DCL was waiting. Unbelievable pass from the Colombian. And no one was up there with him, but earns a corner for Everton.
Well, Alfredo Morelos, of course, gave that ball away a moment ago, and nearly led to a really good counter-attack. Callum McGregor launched a through ball into Mohamed El Yunusi. It's 1-1. What's happened?
It's 1-1. It's a man who I've got to bet on to score at any time. Michael Keane has headed it home from the corner. I do not believe it. I'm in the money. I've scored a goal.
Well, I mean, he's not an Everton fan, but 2 for 1 there.
Yes. It's an in-swinging corner from James. Michael Keane being marked by Fabinho. He just gets up higher. It's at Adrian, but he's palmed it back into his own net instead of palming it out. And it's 1-1. Michael Keane, goal-scoring machine.
Well, I tell you what, he has been a goal-scoring machine these last few weeks with the goals that he's scored. Just very quickly look at the chat right now and see what you guys have been saying. Celtic on the attack here, but nothing comes of it. But I'm saying Mon the Gers, always going for the underdog, me. Jimmy saying I can see Celtic losing it, to be honest. Sorry, I can't see Celtic losing it, to be honest. As much as I root for underdogs, they're the PSG/Juventus of this league. And he put, I think Van Dijk has lost his standards. But Everton back in it.
He's not on the pitch.
Yeah, he's not on the pitch anymore. We said that they had to show some grit, and they've shown that grit indeed. 1-1.
Yeah, and what a player to do it. The man I've always believed in, Michael Keane.
Well, you put your money on him. You had to believe in him.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Anyway.
We've got a corner for Celtic.
It might be go on.
I'm just going to say we've got a corner for Celtic here. They're starting to get their way back into this game. It was Frimpong on the right-hand side, laid a ball into Callum McGregor, who just spun Helander, tried to get a ball into the box towards one of the forwards, El Yunusi, or into Klimala, but he just couldn't get it there.
Salah's free. He's going to... Oh, it's a poor shot. I'm sorry for interjecting. I feel I interject, and then the shot seems to be the tamest thing ever. But Alan had the ball nicked from him from his compatriot Fabinho in the middle. Fall to Firmino. Found Salah cutting on his left, as we know he's going to do, but it's not the usual left foot we see from Salah, that one.
Well, the corner was taken for Celtic. It's been given as a foul for Rangers. Shane Duffy with a foul on Connor Goldson there. But just look at the chat right now. Benaldo putting a bench Keane as a good luck wish for Everton. I definitely think he did indeed. He's probably crying right now in terms of the FPL points.
That's what I was just thinking. And if you've got Van Dijk as well, take him out because we don't know about his injuries. So it could be an awful...
Oh, God, I've got Van Dijk in there, I think. Oh, no, that's another injury for me.
Well, I might have benched Mane because of the whole COVID thing, so I don't know.
I think my entire FPL team right now, the bench is just going to be all injuries. Ugh,
yeah,
it's not nice right now. But if you are new to the stream, as always, do leave a like and a subscription. We're already 20 minutes into these games, which is mad because it only felt like they kicked off 2 moments ago. But if you're new, as always, do leave a like and subscription. We are working towards 1,300 subscribers, as always. We've got plenty more content to come, but as you can see on the screen right now, the scores as they currently stand. Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Liverpool scored the first goal of the game, Mane, and then a Michael Keane equaliser. And then Rangers still 1-0 right now. Connor Goldson with the goal, but it does feel like this has got plenty more goals in it. And I'm pretty sure you can say the same about your game.
Yeah, definitely. This has been end-to-end entertainment. And as you said, I could not tell that it's been 20 minutes because it has flown by due to the amount of chances, the intensity, the pace of the game. Absolutely brilliant so far. It's everything you want from a not a deadline day, a derby day, as Liverpool have a free kick just inside the 18-yard box. You know, the old semicircle.
Before the free kick's taken, Jamie did Rodriguez get the assist?
Yes, he did.
What a start he's had! Unbelievable.
Yeah, but it's just a free kick right on the edge of the box, near the D at the edge of the box. Andre Gomez with a high boot. He doesn't connect with Mane, but sadly, in nowadays, you're not even allowed to have your boot that high. It's dangerous play. So we'll see who stands over it. I think Thiago might be eyeing it up. What a way to announce! Oh no, he's not. He's not. Who do you think's on this? Do you think Trent, Salah, Henderson? What are you thinking, Josh?
I'd have said it's got to be Trent, hasn't it? It has to be Trent. They'll all try and stand over the free kick, but I'm pretty sure Trent should have the authority to say, back off, guys. I'll take this because we've seen his set pieces before in terms of free kicks, and he's got some fantastic goals from him.
He has. He most definitely has in that past. I remember the one at the back end of last season against, I think, was it Chelsea? Unbelievable.
I think it was, quality goal. Not really much going on here in terms of Celtic Rangers, but you got your free kick. Yeah,
Thiago did end up coming over to stand over it. I thought he was around that area, but he rejected it in the end. Henderson's there as well, but he stood in front of the ball. I don't know if this is a tactic that they've worked on.
He might lay it off.
Oh, what a save! And don't know if it's just for the cameras, but Pickford has dived to his top right. It was Henderson rolled it to Trent to get a better angle. It wasn't quite in the corner, so maybe it was slightly for the cameras. But a good top right save by Jordan Pickford there. It looked good, and that's all that matters.
Well, I think that's all that matters for Jordan Pickford. We've seen the amount of times he's made wonder saves, and it's for the cameras. But I mean, that's a good save overall for the match to keep Everton in it right now, because it sounds like a great start. 25 minutes in, and are we going to get our first yellow card of the day here? Brandon Barker's gone down. Foul there from Callum McGregor. And no, we're still 25 minutes in. We haven't had a yellow card yet in the Old Firm Derby, which is a surprise to me. But look at the chat right now.
Record.
It is. I mean, if we could go the entire game without a yellow card, then that would be unbelievable. But Jamie put, foot my life, I have Van Dijk in there in his FPL team. Save here. Vinald's put great take by Trent for the free kick.
Yeah,
so
it was a great free kick. I think, as we said, I think the tell of what the design of the set piece was quite obvious when Henderson would refuse to move from in front of the ball, but got a better angle and it almost ended up finding the top corner, but hasn't, as Thingy counter, and James just takes a dodgy touch, which is not what we've expected since he's come in Everton shirt, and now Mane's off the other way. He squared up Yerry Mina. I told you, Josh, end to end.
End to end indeed. I think this one's gone a little bit quiet in the Old Firm Derby. I haven't really had a major chance for a couple of minutes now. Getting a bit scrappy again, as you'd expect. You know, Celtic have got to come back into this and try and get an equalising goal, because I do think sometimes with these Old Firm derbies, once it's kind of maybe 2-0, sometimes it can get away from you. And we've seen in the past, Rangers and Celtic both win some of these derbies 4, 5, 6-0. And I think it's vital here that the next goal goes to the advantage of the home side. But gone a little bit quiet for now in this one. Not as enthralling, I'd say, as the Everton-Liverpool game, but it's not been a terrible game. And just as I say that, Rangers trying to come forward here. It's Kamara to Morelos, who seems to be finding himself in a left wing position right now. He's been pushed over by Christophe Ayer, but the referee plays on, and nothing comes of the opportunity for Celtic or Rangers there. So still 1-0.
Yeah, I think it depends on how because what we've both seen in our games is early goals, and I think what we have seen is different reactions. You know, I think Everton have been really good since they've gone 1-0 down, whereas maybe Celtic haven't quite got it going since they went 1-0 down. Obviously, they had that chip attempt. But apart from that, I've not heard much from you, really, in terms of a Celtic attempt.
Not really. And I think that it was the chip attempt that was the most important opportunity, because had that have gone into the back of the net, I think we would have seen this game a little bit more attacking, a little bit more open, both sides trying to win it. But, Rangers right now, they can be happy with the lead that they've got. But as I said before, I think the next goal is so crucial, because if Rangers get a second, I can see this maybe getting away from Celtic. But you never know with these fixtures. They are special, special derbies. But Jamie's put in the chat, I'm still laughing at my mate who put Maguire in his dream team. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Well, mistakes always happen. There's enough time to transfer him out. It's fine.
Oh, we're about 28 minutes in here. I'd assume around about nearly the same time in the Everton-Liverpool game. 1-1 between Everton and Liverpool so far. And Celtic currently 1-0 down to Rangers. And Rangers have another free kick here. This time it's on the left-hand side. It's in a very similar position to where the original free kick came from for the goal. And it's Klamal, the Polish forward, who fouls Barisic. And this time it's going to be Barisic that takes it. And if they can, make something similar of the opportunity which Tavernier made, we could maybe see a second here, but we'll have to find out in a second. It's going to be lofted in. Not the most convincing free kick in the world, and the referee's giving a free kick to Celtic anyway. I think Morelos there with a foul. Foul central right now.
Yeah, it's a shame because it breaks up the game a little bit. I think that's one there's a few fouls in this one, but it's not dominated the game. It's been allowed to progress, it's been allowed to play, and that's what we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why in that first kind of 10 or 15 minutes, there's a few fouls that in other games would have been given. But in a match like this, they probably just let off a little bit more, let the pace and the flow of the game continue, or else you're going to be, stopping the game every 5 or 10 seconds with a slight push or a shove on a player. But a few more swiping tackles going in here. That's a lovely tackle from Frimpong. It's a beautiful sliding tackle. It's nice to see a few fouls just let go a little bit, because I think everybody knows that classic tackle from Scott Brown a few years ago, where he just went full on with a big, massive sliding tackle that made one of the Rangers players pretty much do a front flip. It's nice to see those types of fouls in the game.
Yeah, we don't get them, but we don't get them very often. But when we do get them, it's as long as no one gets hurt. Of course, we're not condoning.
Oh, of course. But we do condone a nice, lovely slide tackle.
And sadly, at the moment, we look like we're condoning injuries, because Seamus Coleman's now down. He's on a knee. He doesn't look as if he's getting... Richarlison's on a knee. Nobody's up now. I'll tell you what, Josh, I don't know where... I think something must have been wrong in Merseyside this week. Everyone seems to have got a little bit fragile.
What I was going to say there with Seamus Coleman, I think that would probably be more worrying than Richarlison, because we've seen in the past, Seamus Coleman have some big long-term injuries. I remember when I think he had a serious knee injury that kept him out pretty much for an entire season. So I think the last thing he wants is to, at his age as well, to pick up an injury that stops his Everton career, because I do think it probably isn't long before Seamus goes, I think.
Well, he's going off the pitch, I tell you that, and they're going to bring on Ben Godfrey. So he's going now. I'm not.
What way to start your Everton career?
Yeah. What do you think it is now? Do they switch to maybe a 3, or do they just go with maybe Godfrey at right back and just kind of run with it? Because I can't see Yerry Mina being a fullback. I'll be honest.
No, it's an interesting tweak of the system. I don't necessarily know whether Godfrey's played right back or not before. I'd assume maybe it's a free back formation. Put Digne as a kind of a left wing back, but we'll have to find out in a moment, because I don't know who'd play on that right hand side, to be honest.
Yeah, because you don't want to move Hammers to a right wing back. That's probably the last thing you want to do. But it does look like he is going in at right back. He's got a challenge here now as Robertson makes an on-rushing run. Gets the crossing, but nothing comes from it. So injuries and goals. We've pretty much had everything so far.
Well, we've got a free kick here for Rangers. It's about 35 yards out from goal. Goldson was standing over it. He's left. Tavernier is standing over it. And Davis is standing over this as well. I think someone's going to hit this, to be honest. And it'd be nice to see maybe a nice, lovely wonder goal in one of these games. But Davis has moved away. And I think Tavernier, who, of course, has been really good so far in this first half an hour, looks like he's going to hit it. And I think Helander is standing over it as well. So Tavernier's going to hit it. He chose to flick it into the box. It doesn't come to anyone. Headed away by one of the Celtic defenders, I think Duffy, lands back at Tavernier's feet, tries to flick the ball into the box once again, and it's cleared away, and eventually it's landing all the way back up the feet of McGregor in goal. So nothing coming there for Rangers, but very cagey again. It's very nerve-wracking for both sides right now.
Yeah, and I think Liverpool have noticed where Godfrey is, and their attacks have constantly now, since that moment, been coming down that side. As Thiago takes strike from range, just past the post. But I tell you what, Josh, they were promoting the BT Sport box office, and I don't know if the man on the crowd noise can chorus in some boos, but I think that's what we'd be getting from the crowd man right now.
I think we would indeed. It's ludicrous, isn't it? And I think we talked about it before. I think it's something that might get changed over time, depending on how it works, and of course how many people actually pay for it. Because it's all right them advertising it, but if they don't get as many people paying for it in terms of its worth, then they might have to go back to square one again. But the important thing is, at least they haven't put games like this on box office, because it wouldn't have surprised me.
No, but we saw that. I think it was Nicola Sturgeon saying that it should be available for free. The old firm.
Yeah, so she did indeed.
Trying to get something back for the fans, at least, that you don't have to pay for.
Exactly, and as I said before, it just wouldn't have surprised me if they'd have put these types of games on box office, knowing that people would have paid for it because the big games. But some of the smaller games are on box office, which is a shame. But you've had a chance. Who's it been to?
Mane could have had a brace again. It's that exact same link-up. Robertson on the left from a Firmino pass. He's a low cross who finds Mane as he peeled off to the back, to the edge of the box. he opens his foot up, but he opens it up a little bit too much, and the chance is just completely wayward to the right-hand side. But Liverpool, since the change for Seamus Coleman, it's gone more in their favour. It's very much like a boxing match. This is back and forth, like in terms of momentum swings, and it seems to be relating to injuries.
And the thing is, as you said, I think Liverpool will now try and target that right-hand side. As I said before, I don't know whether Ben Godfrey has played as a right-back before in his career, maybe at Norwich, before in the past, once or twice. But for Liverpool, they will eye up the right-hand side and try and exploit that a little bit more, knowing Ben Godfrey maybe doesn't play there as much as a usual right-back like Seamus Coleman.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was just maybe the shape on that attack specifically, but I was kind of, I like to look at things tactically and look how the defence was lining up. And on that attack specifically, maybe he was just filling in, but it was 3 centre-backs with Decore as a right wing-back on that specific drive. So maybe that might be where they're going with it, but I'll keep an eye on it and get back to you about how I can see this defence lining up.
Well, we're going to have a corner here for Rangers. Ryan Kent with a shot from just outside of the box. Scott Brown with a deflection on the ball. It eventually rolls out of play, and the referee points for a corner. It was actually a mistake at the back from the youngster Jeremy Frimpong that gave the ball away. And it's, as we said, even though there's not fans in the stadium, there's a few nerves in the players. And just before the corner's taken, Jamie's put there'll be so many wonder goals in the Merseyside Derby. Pickford and Adrian in goal equals it goes in from everywhere. But he made a good save, didn't he, for the free kick earlier?
Yeah, he did, and he denied a wonder goal, which is annoying because he usually just lets in the crap ones. That's the problem with Pickford. If it's spectacular and in the corner, he'll probably save it. But if it's straight at him, it's going in.
Well, the corner was lobbed in by Tavernier. It was guided towards Connor Goldson, who's already scored today. A little bit too heavy, though, this time with the cross. And Goldson tries his hardest to jump up and get the ball. It goes over him, and the flight, as I said, of the corner is pretty poor. And Celtic are able to clear it away. And I do think it is a case of Celtic are really trying so hard here to make sure that Rangers don't go 2-0 up. They've not really had many attacks in the last 10 minutes, while Rangers keep coming forward. And I think if you're a Celtic fan right now, you can't be happy. But Ryan Kennedy's on the left-hand side. Done very well there for Impong to be able to intercept the ball. And nerves, that's all I can say. Even though there's no fans in the stadium, it does feel like a really good Old Firm derby.
It feels like the pressure's still there, even though it's not from the stands. As Ben Godfrey was playing a very, very dangerous game there, as he luckily goes out for a goal kick. But there's been half chances, and the moment one team gets a half chance, I feel I can't talk about it because up the other end, the other team comes with a half chance, and then before I know it, the chances are over.
But at least there's endless chances right now. That's what you want in a game like this, don't you? Just constant opportunities from both sides. Nobody really getting a foothold in the game.
Yeah, and they just keep going back to that Van Dijk tackle by Pickford. Not good. Not good. He's so lucky that's offside.
Oh, well, it might not be long before we get the first yellow card of the game. And, take a guess who the first yellow card could have gone to, because the referee's given them talking.
Is it Scott Brown?
Alfredo Morelos. Actually, a bit of pushing and shoving between him and Scott Brown. In fact, he's just slapped him on the back of the head, which the referee hasn't noticed, which he's probably kind of lucky that he didn't, because in some cases, referees would bring that up. But just giving him a talking to. I think that's the last opportunity before Morelos goes into the booking there, which he did give a free kick away just in the half of the attacking side of play for Celtic. Ball's lofted in towards Shane Duffy, who's towards the far right-hand side of the post, but he is offside and the flag's raised pretty quickly by the linesman. So, it's tense there, and they're actually just showing back Morelos slapping Brown on the back of the head. A few expletives you could quite clearly see were being said by Scott Brown, which is quite a blessing in disguise when there's no fans in, because you can actually hear what's being said. But something that would probably be brought up by other referees, which hasn't there, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. But it would be fun to listen to it. Oh, go on.
I was going to say, which is it's usual for Morelos to get a red card in an Old Firm derby. It's kind of become the standard now.
Yeah, he just needs to keep his temperament in check. But in terms of an Old Firm, watching it, say, without a crowd, as you say, that would be an unbelievable listen, because I don't even want to know half the stuff that gets said on that pitch during the game. But now you get to. But I feel like it's a tough job for the commentators after every chant. Sorry if you heard any bad language there. They said it again.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Morelos here, how he's not in the book yet, I don't know, because there's been a free kick that was given to Scott Brown at the halfway line. Morelos has stood about 2 yards away from him, and the referee's obviously told him, you need to go a little bit further back. He's completely ignored it. He's then tried to kick the ball away. The referee still hasn't given him a booking yet.
Oh! Still hasn't given him a booking, which is, if you slap someone on the back of the head, you should probably get a booking anyway. But
yeah, exactly.
It was a chance for Everton. James found Decore on the right-hand side. He tried to square it across the box. First, Calvert-Lewin gives it a go, can't get a connection. Then Richarlison's diving in at the back post, and he can't get a connection on it. But they're still coming forward. It's James, finds Andre Gomez. Oh, we squared up Matip, but it's offside anyway. Sorry, Josh.
No, it's all right. We've got a goal kick here. There was a slight opportunity for Celtic to come forward. It was actually from that resulting free kick. Klimala was just seen as offside. And we haven't really seen much of the Polish forward today. In fact, I don't really feel like this two-striker system has worked so far. Of course, Elyounoussi isn't a recognised striker anyway, but we haven't seen really much of the attacking two. And of course, it must be a big miss today for Celtic to not have Edouard, because he's so crucial to this side in terms of the goals that I think you can quite clearly tell how big of an effect it's having on the team.
Much different team as a ricochet ball finds Firmino, squares it in. Great block by Ben Godfrey. He may have shouldered Jordan Henderson in the face along the way to get across the thingy, but nothing was stopping him from getting there, and clears it out for a corner. Good defending, but another chance.
Another foul being given here. Laxalt just questioning the referee there on why it's not being given his way. He was fouled in the build. I think the referee's been a little bit harsh there and not giving the foul to Celtic. But it is just foul central. I do kind of feel sometimes with these games it must be hard for a referee, because the amount of stuff that you will miss in these games, the little fouls going in, the Morelos slap there on Scott Brown. There's certain things in this game that you are going to miss because you just can't keep your eyes on everything in a fixture like this. They're ruthless.
They are. And they're also sneaky. I think they've learned over the years how to get away with certain fouls, that they're not thick, believe it or not. And as you say, I think players could get away with a few more things if they do it, maybe behind the referee's back.
Exactly, which is why Morelos was slightly lucky there to not get a yellow card for the slap on Scott Brown. And we've seen that they are two of the kind of the figureheads of this derby. They've had so many clashes in the last couple of years against each other that you could quite easily sit there and just focus on Scott Brown and Morelos together for the whole 90 minutes and still have an enjoyable game of football. Yeah,
they're two figureheads who just they will never be one. They will constantly just be at each other no matter what.
Unless by unbelievable standard that they both somehow play for the same team one day, which will never happen.
No.
We will never see those two, look at each other's in their eyes and not butt heads of each other. And of course, once again, that's exactly what they're doing today, butting heads, and it's fantastic to watch.
It's a brilliant run by Ben Godfrey, and he's found Richarlison, who takes a strike again from just outside the box, and it flies over. But Ben Godfrey making a marauding run from the right-hand side there, and almost got his team into a good position to get a goal, maybe.
It's interesting indeed. Kyle's in the chat. How are you doing, Kyle? You're good, buddy. How have you been able to recover from the Euro 2020 playoff games? He says, what you guys take on Sky making you pay £15 to watch matches? Sky taking the piss out of long-time customers who already paid so much a month to then make them pay more. Absolutely disgrace. We agree with that. It's awful, isn't it?
It's not just Sky, though. It's BT as well. It wasn't their decision from what I know. I'm pretty sure wasn't it the Premier League's decision?
I believe so, yeah. Of course, they've got to show the fixtures, which is a shame for them, but it's money in their back pocket as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they're going, oh, an extra £15 per game. Oh, I don't like the sound. They probably love the sound of it, but it wasn't them that proposed it. So I guess they're not the biggest culprit. We'll hopefully see a change in that soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think the important thing is if people don't pay for it and people kind of steer away from it, it might make people second think about it and maybe revert back. But we've got 1 minute of additional time here between Celtic and Rangers, and it does look like, in my opinion, Rangers are going to go in with a 1-0 lead at half time unless anything changes with 40 seconds to go.
We've just had our first booking of the half. James Rodriguez will go into the book for a sliding challenge on Sadio Mane. He does get the ball, but he has to go through the man first, and it's on the right-hand side of Pickford's box, just outside. Again, Trent and I think Robertson's over it. So the thing is with Liverpool, they're such a dual-threat team. You have to worry about both the shot from Trent and the cross because they're both going to be of unbelievable quality. But we'll see.
I mean, if they can get 2-1 up here just before half-time, then it's going to change both managers' team talks very drastically.
No, they cannot because Yerry Mina has headed it off the line. But
we are half-time.
Half-time, so it's 1-0 to Rangers. As Decore outstrengths Mo Salah, there's space for him if he wants to drive into it. He's followed up by Henderson. He does find Digne. It's going to be a throw-in as 4 minutes are added on, Josh.
You've got quite some time here. That's good for me. I get to sit back for 4 minutes, but yeah... At half-time, 1-0 to Rangers. It has been a cagey game. Not been many chances for Celtic. Now there has been for Rangers, to be honest, but Rangers looking the better of the two sides. And with 45 minutes left, Celtic have got to do something because right now they haven't been necessarily convincing in this match. But we've got 4 minutes left. We'll have to find out what happens here if Everton or Liverpool can take a lead just before half-time.
Yeah, we've got. We're just ticking into, I think, a minute and a half we've had now. So 2.5 minutes after this. They're eyeing up a long throw. I don't think he's got the Delap in him as Digne, but he has stepped into the pitch as well. So I think that would have been called back anyway. The ball's recycled with Gomez. Goes for, oh my God, he goes for a cross, which looked incredibly mishit, but it was going towards Adrian's goal, and he's had to tip it over the crossbar. So they've got a corner out of nothing, and we have seen that Everton can score from corners with the Michael Keane goal. So that might be one of the last chances of the half.
Oh, maybe a Michael Keane double. You never know. We'll have to find out in a second.
I didn't put money on that.
I don't think there's many people. There'll be one person out there that will probably put a Michael Keane double.
Yeah, James' ball in. It'll find the... Oh, I hate this. It's offside from a corner. That's poor. It comes to nothing in the end. I think it's one of them, I think it always frustrates people. Do you know when you bring your big centre-halves up from the back and then you take it short and then it kind of all bollocks up and you're just like, we brought our big men forward, lump it in, man. Yeah,
just hit it long because it worked in the previous opportunity. So why sit there and change it up?
Yeah,
I guess maybe a case is they don't want Liverpool to go on the counter and then get 2-1 down at half-time.
Yeah, well, to be fair, there is still just under a minute left, and Gomez is free on the right. Oh, he tries to find Digne again. This has been a really evenly matched half, and it has been very enjoyable to watch. I'm pretty sure if you're an Everton or Liverpool fan, it has not been that enjoyable, more nerve-wracking than anything else. As 50 seconds ago, till thingy, and Salah comes forward, drills it through. Richarlison doing his defensive duties. I don't think I'd say that very often this season. But with 30 seconds to go, Liverpool are going to end on the front foot when it looked like Everton were a minute ago.
Crazy. It sounds like a great game. We'll kind of have a look at the stats at half-time because I've just got the stats up for both of the games. But it does look like it's going to be 1-1 at half-time. And for Everton, if they can hold on and get a point today, that is massive for them.
It is, but at the moment, with the way they've played, I think in their minds they're going, why not all three? Why not
exactly.
All three after the way it's gone?
And that's the mindset they have to have. So So there we go, half time. 1-1 between Everton and Liverpool, and 1-0 to Rangers against Celtic. And as we said before, they have to go out there with a mentality if they want to win it. If they want to become, one of the teams in the top 4 and the top 6, Everton have to prove themselves and get results against some of the big teams like Liverpool.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Completely agree. And the way Liverpool are playing, they have been known to blow teams away in the past, but this Everton team have been level, if not in some periods better. So they've got to just be fearless and fancy the chances.
Exactly. And they've done very good so far to get a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. Of course, there's still another 45 minutes left to go, but half-time, it's currently Everton 1, Liverpool 1, Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Before we go and talk about the fixtures that we have just watched in the first 45 minutes, here's a quick look at some of the stuff that's still to come on the channel, because, of course, if you are new as always, it would be greatly appreciated if you do leave a like and a subscription. It does come in handy for us. So you can see our next show is on the 20th of October, Groups E to H, the Champions League. Of course, we're going to be covering every game and every moment live. So on the 21st of October, we'll have Groups A to D. So you don't want to miss out on it. The Champions League goal show is going to be a lot of fun. Then on the 22nd of October, we have got Celtic versus AC Milan as our main fixture of the Europa League for that week. And then, of course, El Clasico, 24th of October, 1:45, kick-off at 3 o'clock. What a game of football that's going to be. Going to be interesting to see how that one goes down, of course. In La Liga, of course, Barcelona have been struggling. Real Madrid have got a lot of work to do themselves if they want to continue their run of dominance in La Liga. So there's a quick look at some of the stuff to come on the channel pretty much over the next week. There are some big games still to come, aren't there, Kieran?
Yeah, not even just Barcelona, Real Madrid. There's a bigger games to come today. You've still got Milan versus Milan. That'll kind of see how both teams are going to fare, because Celtic have got their derby, Milan have got their derby, and then they both meet in just under a week's time. So lots of big games coming up, and I don't know about you, I am so excited to see the return of European football from the group stages right through.
It's very exciting because there's so many good games to really keep your eyes out on, and there'll be a lot of hopefully incredible matches in the Champions League, because it's now, of course, back to the usual system we had last year, and it's the group stages. There's good games in there, even in the Europa League. There's still some very good games, but half-time, as it currently stands in these two games, of course, Everton 1, Liverpool 1, Celtic 0, Rangers 1. Kieran D saying good game so far. Good to see you in the chat, Kieran, as always. And Kyle has put, I want Rangers and Everton to win. Also, hopefully the injury to Coleman isn't too serious, which is something we did talk about earlier. There's been a few injuries in your game, hasn't there?
Yeah, Van Dijk went off early with a terrible tackle from Jordan Pickford. Like, mistimed, dangerously high, scissor motion, just not very good. I think he was coming out to try and save the ball, but still. But the Seamus Coleman one didn't look like an impact injury to me. It looked more like just a muscle injury. So hopefully nothing's torn. Hopefully, maybe just a hamstring strain or something like that. You don't want to see anything too bad, especially with Coleman. And I don't want to be rude, but at his age, it's harder to get back to 100%. Whereas with a younger player like Van Dijk, I think he'll be back sooner rather than later. As it's just rough for Coleman, I would say.
And it is, as I said before as well, the fact he had that very serious injury not too long ago that kept him out for a whole season. If it is something that's a recurring injury, it can quite easily kill your career off, especially with him getting he's not old, but he's getting on, and he probably won't be an Everton player for much longer if they want to upgrade their team over time.
Yeah, and he's been good. He's been a fantastic servant for Everton. Like, honest to God, you look at, for me, you think of Baines of the last couple of years, then immediately behind him, it's Seamus Coleman for the core of what Everton have been good for the last couple of years. So hopefully it's just a tweak.
Yeah, fingers crossed. The ever-present fullback, of course, Kieran has put Skivey wet to spot the boys. You love to see it. And then Bernardo put Pickford 100% should have been off for that challenge. Kieran agrees, said 100% red card. That could have had Van Dijk out for the rest of the season. Of course, I'm not currently watching the game, and I think there might be a few other people who watch the Old Firm game. Just describe what happened there.
So basically, it was offside. The first thing we should mention is this is the reason he's not sent off, is because it was offside by a sleeve. I think it was. I still don't know what it was that was offside. But basically, the ball's recycled by Fabinho, and it's a lofted ball. And as the ball's bouncing down, Van Dijk had peeled off at the back post. And as the ball is bouncing, Jordan Pickford comes over with the scissors to try and get the ball. But instead of that, he scissors the knee of Van Dijk. It's a high tackle, as you can tell, because he's up at the knee area. And it just looks like maybe a hyperextension. I'm not quite sure, but it should have been a red. It was dangerous. It was reckless, and it was nowhere near the ball, high up on the knee. A dangerous tackle from Jordan Pickford, saved by the offside flag.
Yeah, and the thing is, hopefully it's nothing too serious for Van Dijk either, because you could quite easily see something like maybe an ACL injury, whether it be a torn ACL or something like that. But of course, I think there'll be a lot of people there saying it should have been a red card. But as you said, because it's offside, of course, the red card isn't given, and Everton very lucky to not be down to 10 men after what would have been 10 minutes, because of course Liverpool scored very early on with their opening goal, and they could have been 2-0 down after 10 minutes and down to 10 men, and it's a very different game after that, isn't it?
That's the thing. The game changed when Van Dijk went off. That game changes drastically more if Jordan Pickford is off for good. It was a completely different. It worked completely different for both teams, no matter which way you looked at it. I think both teams have had momentum shifts in the game, but if Pickford would have been sent off, then I think it would have been a long, long day for Everton, no matter who was in there after that. You know, big Robin Olsen, I don't think there'd be much he could have done. But be interesting to see the goalkeeping battle between Pickford and Olsen as they picked him up on deadline day.
It did indeed. And of course, Ben Godfrey as well picked up on deadline day too. He's, of course, come on for Seamus Coleman in that game. Ben Al's tweeted it to me, which I'll have a look in a moment and kind of have my own opinion about it and see what's happened there. James, what do you think would be the highest scoring game of the weekend?
Oh, let me get the fixtures up. Hull City v Rochdale is going to be going to have the bouncy 4 out when we put 4 past them.
Well, Bernardo's disagreed. He says he thinks Spurs are going to score 8 against West Ham, of course. Now they've got their incredible attack back and ready and raring to go.
I don't know about you. I want to see 8 goals. We have a secret reason why we want to see 8 goals, but we'll pray.
We will indeed. Just have a look at the other bits of the chat as well. James saying West Ham are about to get slapped up. Carl saying offside shouldn't mean Pickford stays on. This is why VAR is crap. Klopp might go mad if Everton wins this, of course. Be always nice to see if Everton did win this, how Klopp would react in the press conferences, because we've seen him in the past where he's a little bit fiery, he's a little bit tense. And I do think that even if Liverpool do win this game, he might still be very tense because of that foul.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it. Every time I look at it, it looks worse and worse. That is horrific. He's off his feet. No, Josh, you need to look at that. It's awful.
Well, I'm just waiting for it to come through because it hasn't come through yet for me. So when it does, I'll have a gander at it and see what it's all about. But hopefully nothing too serious in terms of the fouls there. But to quickly run you through the stats before we have a quick talk about the Rangers and Celtic game. Everton, they've had 6 shots, 3 on target, to Liverpool's 13 shots, 4 on target. As we said before, there's already been changes for both sides. Van Dijk coming off because of that foul. Joe Gomez coming on. Ben Godfrey coming on for Seamus Coleman. So 2 injuries resulting in 2 changes, 1 for either side, as Kieran has vanished. Hopefully we'll be able to bring him back in a moment. But yeah, it's been a cagey game of football. 2 very good sides having lots of opportunities. But while Kieran has gone for a moment, hopefully he'll be back in a second. We'll have a quick talk about the Celtic Rangers game, because, of course, that is the other game that has been covered today by myself. And it has been a very cagey game of football down here as well. Not as many opportunities for either side, but it has been a fairly interesting game, of course. Alfredo Morelos could have gone into the book, courtesy of the slap that was undetected by the referee on Scott Brown. But in terms of the actual chances throughout the game itself, Celtic haven't had a shot on target, which in fact is the first time that they failed to have a shot on target since 2018 in September against Aberdeen. So interesting there to see that Celtic struggling to have opportunities on goal, which of course comes back to what I said about before in terms of the 2 strikers up top not really working well. As for Rangers, they've had 4 shots, 2 on target. Celtic with more of the possession, but they haven't had a shot on target, which is very un-Celtic-like. And I know, of course, you're not watching the game right now, Kieran, you're watching the Merseyside Derby, of course. But Celtic have got a lot of work to do because just as you were coming back into stream, it's the first time that they haven't had a shot on target in the first half since September 2018.
So I think for me, that epitomises how much Odsonne Edouard means to this team. Can you hear me all right? I have had to switch devices.
I can indeed.
Right, no worries. So yeah, I think that just shows how important Odsonne Edouard is. Without him, they've not got a real striking backup. I know Klimala's is okay, but it's clearly not working. When you've got Edouard on the pitch, you've always got a chance because he's a good finisher and he's a good striker. That's why he's wanted by a lot of teams around Europe. So I think that, for me, proves the problem. Maybe the 3-5-2 isn't quite working. So get some other players on the pitch and maybe they can finally, because to not have a shot, it's quite disappointing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've been, really lackluster up top. Of course, Elyounoussi isn't even a recognised striker in the first place. He had that one major opportunity, which was a mistake from Connor Goldson, who, of course, scored the first goal. He scored his from a free kick, which was a lovely ball in from Tavernier, former Rotherham player, into the box. Great header from Goldson. Had to squeeze that one in there with the Rotherham reference. But the opportunity that Elyounoussi had, 9 times out of 10, a proper striker would have put that into the back of the net. It was the connection on the ball that was really, really poor, and it was lifted a little bit too high. But if there is one player that could come on from the bench that is a recognised striker, in fact, 2 of them, of course, they've got Albion Ajeti, the former West Ham forward, who struggled in his time at the Premier League, but has scored 5 goals for Celtic so far since joining the Scottish League. And a player that we haven't really seen much of over the last couple of years, Lee Griffiths, a very good player on his day for Celtic, of course, hasn't really hit the same form he did before he took a break out. But there hasn't been any changes here, which is surprising. Do you think we might see one of those come on after maybe 10 or 15 minutes if it's still the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit worrying that neither Albion Ajeti nor Lee Griffiths were preferred to play striker than a winger was to play striker, which makes, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe they're not match fit. Maybe they didn't fit tactically, but it's clearly not working. So I think Albion Ajeti could cause problems. And Lee Griffiths, as you say, I think his best days are behind him. But he always has the occasional goal in him, and nothing will mean more in the old firm than Lee Griffiths because he's been lifelong Celtic. So that might work as well.
He has indeed, and he's had big moments for the club. It is a real shame that for him, unfortunately, things went the way they did. But Rangers on the attack here after 25 seconds. A ball from Morelos that's guided towards Kent, just can't get a touch, and it's cleared away in the end by Welsh, who's done very well so far. Of course, couldn't really do much about the opening goal for Connor Goldson, but for somebody on their debut, he's looked very calm in that 3-man defence. A fair play to him, of course. The Everton-Liverpool game will kick off in a few more minutes because of the 4 minutes of additional time, courtesy of those 2 injuries, of course. But there's going to be a lot of work that's needed for Celtic here. And like you said, I'm surprised Ajeti didn't start because he's got 5 goals to his name. Yeah,
he seems to have found a relative home in Celtic, even though it's early stages in his career. And if he's finding the back of the net, you might as well give him a chance. But maybe we don't know the tactics. We're not football managers for a reason, Josh. Just yet, so that'll be why. But
and I think the thing as well is maybe, of course, because the international break as well, some of the players going out to their respective nations and things like that will make a difference. Of course, Edouard not being able to play because of that, as well as a couple of other players. So maybe we might see a few of those international players come on a little bit later on.
Yeah, because Ajeti obviously will have gone away with his nation, I think. But that's surprising because Elyounoussi would have been away with Norway. But we're just picking at stuff now, aren't we, Josh? Let's just take it for what it is, even though we don't think it were right.
Maybe it's just Neil Lennon is just really poor at decision making. I think there will be a few Celtic fans out there that will question the decision of putting Elyounoussi up top. Of course, it hasn't really worked out majorly so far, but you never know what can happen in the next 45 minutes.
I think it'd be weird to see if they didn't win the league this year, because obviously they were pathetic in Europe. I don't mean to be rude, but they were awful in Europe. They got knocked out, of course, by Ferencváros. So do you think that might call the end for Neil Lennon if he doesn't win the league and, let's say, in Europa he fails to get out the group?
Oh, 100%.
They've got a really tough group.
I think it's less about the group in the Europa League. I think if they were to get knocked out, it's one of those where they can put their hands up and say, look, we have had a very tough group. To get out of a group that includes AC Milan is going to be tough within itself. But to not win the league, I think would see him go and then go down a different route. But of course, it's so important for Rangers as well, because as we said earlier, if Celtic do win the league again, it's 10 in a row, which is mental. And it comes back to what Jamie said earlier, the dominance of teams like Celtic and PSG and Juventus in their respective leagues. Rangers will want to end that. And if they can pick up a win here today, it's that extra step towards potentially doing it. But it comes back to what you said before. They've got to beat teams like Aberdeen, or else a result like this means nothing.
No, and we have kicked off here. We are a minute in, and Fabinho's had a shot from distance, which has just gone over the top of the bar. Beautiful build-up play between Mohamed Salah and Jordan Henderson. A nice 1-2 that led to that attempt. But yeah, we're back underway here.
It's we've seen a few Fabinho long-range efforts in the past. He's not scared to hit one, is he?
No, not at all. Not like that, though, because he did slip.
Which is a shame for him here, but we are edging towards about 5 minutes into the second half here, and not really any of the two sides getting a foothold of possession in this game. I think Rangers have had one or two very slender opportunities, and I've got to say, 50 minutes into this nearly, we haven't really seen much of Morelos, to be honest. He's been very, very quiet, and I've seen him more on the wings than I have in the actual striker position, which is a little bit worrying, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it tends to happen during the old firm. He appears to go a little bit missing, but I've just looked at the bench and seen Jermaine Defoe's on there. So, if we want to bring Jermaine Defoe on, I'm all for it.
I mean, the thing is with Defoe, at least he'll stay in the striker position and not, kind of gander out into the wings position just because he's a little bit slower than Morelos.
Slightly. It's close. Oh,
I do think.
Sorry, before you continue your point, I will just get to my chance. It's nothing major, so I'll be quick. It's Robertson down the left again, who gets another ball into the box. It's cleared by Keane, but on the half volley at the edge of the box, Jordan Henderson strikes it, and I'm not going to lie, it's just over the crossbar. Not as far over as I thought originally. It did get me a little bit worried there, but still 1-1. As you continued your point, my apologies.
No, it's all right. My point wasn't anything too serious. It was just more of a case of who could really come on in this game and change the game up. But, I mean, we've seen a few Henderson wonder goals as well, haven't we? The goal against Chelsea a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that is a wonder goal. And to be honest, we've had a bit of everything. All I need is a red card and a wonder goal to make this also tick every box of a perfect game of football in terms of flan.
I can't tick that box yet in ours because we're still waiting for the first yellow card of the game after 50 minutes, which is very suspicious for a derby to not have a yellow card in an Old Firm one at the very least. But I think somebody else who could actually come on in this game and change the game up for both sides, actually, if they want a little bit more of attacking change in midfield for both teams, Rogic coming on for Celtic. Be a decent shout, of course. He's always had a couple of things to do in Old Firm games. And then Enis Hadji as well, a player that I'm surprised didn't start today, actually, because, he's had his fair share of moments for Rangers since he's joined. Yeah. But I think we will see him come on soon. But Celtic coming forward here, it's Klamala, puts the ball out onto the left-hand side for Laxalt, who hits the ball into the box first time, comes down for Encham, who takes a touch, then lays it off towards Jeremy Frimpong, who guides it towards Encham again, who lays the ball off towards Elyounoussi. He does get a touch, but it doesn't lead to anything.
It's almost 2-1 Everton. What a pass from James Rodriguez. Unbelievable pass. Switch of play off his back foot with no backlift. He finds Richarlison, I think it was, on the wing. Low cross to Calvert-Lewin. Adrian just about does enough. I'm talking whiskers to keep out of the net. And really good start to the second half.
Oh, it sounds like a good half. We're talking about a chance here. Rangers are through. It's Ryan Kent on the left-hand side. He's wiped out, and it's an outstanding tackle from Christopher Ayer. Well, he's 1-on-1, and he has to time that tackle inch perfect, or else, of course, it's a penalty, and it's most likely a yellow card at the very least. But it's a great tackle from Ayer, and he stops Rangers from going 2-0 up. Brilliant work from the Norwegian.
Good tackle. And is that an old firm tackle, do you think? Like, you know?
Oh, it's 100%. It's a quality tackle. I said, you've got to time it right, or else you're more than likely going to get a red card. But corner's going to go in here from Davies. It's an interesting corner. Tries to slice it so it's guided towards the middle of the box. It doesn't land at anyone's feet. Kamara gets the ball back. He's going to try and get it into the right-hand side of the pitch this time. It's eventually landing at the feet of Morelos. It's a bumbling ball, and it's in the back of the net. It's 2-0 to Rangers from nothing. It's Connor Goldson again. From nothing. It's the poor mistake at the back from Celtic. The ball is bundling, and Connor Goldson finds himself in space, and somehow 2-0 Rangers. Unbelievable drama on Old Firm Day. And I'm just going to look at this goal now again. It's Kamara. He does well on the right-hand side of the pitch. Lays it off towards Morelos. It's good 1-2 work. So Goldson finds the ball inside of the box. He takes the shot first time. It comes off. Oh, it's so unlucky. It comes off Shane Duffy. Bobbles back to Connor Goldson again, who just hits it. Just gets a slight connection on the ball. And Steven Gerrard, he celebrates this time because Rangers are 2-0 to the good.
We asked who'd put money on a Michael Keane double. Who would have put money on a Connor Goldson double before this game?
Unbelievable. He's on for a hat-trick.
Yeah. Go on, Connor.
Unbelievable. And I think we said before the next goal was going to be so crucial to how this game pans out. But this changes everything now because Celtic, I think they've got to make some changes soon. They're 2-0 down. Jamie going in the chat, oh my God, no way. Just mad about the goal. And Bernal's put, St Johnstone will win the Scottish Premier League at this rate. But 7 minutes after the second half? 2-0 Rangers.
Yeah, and I was about to ask you, is this where Neil Lennon looks to his bench for changes? Because I think he has to. As something's happened in the middle of the pitch here between Alan and Robertson off the ball, but Alan is still down, so I'm not sure what's gone on there. I'll get back to you.
And well, just as you've said that, Neil Lennon, he's making a change straight away. There is no messing about here. El Yunusi is coming off the pitch, and I have to say, that chance that he had, the chip earlier, he had to score it, and it could have been a very different game indeed. And coming onto the pitch is Albion Ayeti, the Swiss forward. Yeah. He struggled at West Ham. He's been fantastic since he joined Celtic. Can he be the difference maker with 45 minutes left? Well, sorry, 35 minutes left. But Jamie in the chat saying, of course, got to be honest, we can't win when everybody is at their best. I think talking about some of the other games that have been going on, Cal's put, I would like someone else to win the Scottish Prem to stop Celtic's dominance. And just looking at the opportunity again, it was a deflection from Shane Duffy. There's not much he could have done about it. And it's a good finish. We have a game on our hands.
Oh, I'm trying to say, I think VAR will look at it. I can't tell if this is going to, I don't know what this is going to be.
What's happened? Is it a card or?
Well, this is the thing, Josh. I'm still trying to bloody figure it out, to be honest with you. Robertson had the ball and he was breaking through the middle of the field. He gets away from him. He appears to be pushed in the back. But as he's being pushed in the back, he's fallen to the ground. But he also appears to slide almost into the back of Alan's leg. So I'm not sure if this is a foul on the counter or it's going to be given as a foul for Robertson because nothing was given at the time. It took a minute before they went back. And Robertson now is down injured.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how you really look at that in terms of which way do you give it, because it'd be very harsh to give the foul for Robertson giving the foul. Do you know what I mean? The foul for Everton. I just think you just wipe it off. To be honest, just ignore it and just play on.
Well, that might be what it is. He is jogging off the pitch now, but we saw Milner getting warmed up. I don't think there'll be any cards shown at the moment. I just think it was a weird, innocuous tackle in the midfield, I think. And I just want to know which way the ref's going to give it, because the ref blew it back. And he's going to give it as a throw into Everton later in the move. So he didn't bring it back for the foul. He just brought it back to see what had happened to the injured players. Fair enough.
Which is fair, but we've got half an hour left of this game. Celtic, as you'd expect, have to come forward now and really push, which is going to make this game so much more interesting with the last half an hour to go. I think the first half was good, but there was spells of play where it was a little bit quiet, and now they've got to go for it, Celtic. I'm not too sure, and I know somebody in the chat will probably know a little bit more than me. Have they got 5 changes in Scotland, or is it just 3 changes? Because obviously in the Premier League, they've only got 3 changes. I don't know about the rules set in Scotland, whether they're sticking to the same rules or not.
It's a good question, actually. I've not thought about that.
Which, I mean, if there's 5 changes they can make, then they've got a plethora of players they can bring on.
I think you have to look at maybe... Does the size of the bench change if you can have 5 subs? Because for me, only having 7 subs on the bench usually entails that you'd only be able to make 3 because there's not enough, I don't know.
There's 9 players on the bench for both Rangers and Celtic, which Bernardo saying Google says 5. Jamie's saying he thinks it's 3. So there is it's interesting.
Well, yeah, I think I was going to say, if there's usually 7 subs on the bench, I'd probably cater more towards 3, but with 9, it could be either way.
Well, I'm going to have a quick gander now just to see. I'll look at Celtic's last game that they played and just have a rough idea of the subs that they brought on, because I think it might be 5 from the fact that they've got 9 on the bench. And just to have a look, 1, 2, there are 5 changes they can make. So they've got a plethora of different players that they can bring on in this match. So I think we'll see more changes soon.
Yeah, I think... I was going to say, because it was a good question, because you never really know, do you, in terms of... We
have the first yellow card. It's taken us exactly 1 hour to get it. It's a foul, Scott Arfield. Poor foul from him on Klimala. First yellow card of the day. Here we go, yellow card bingo. We are off to the races.
I was going to say, the tally of 5 and 6. It always gets more niggly towards the end. That's where the tackles will all come flying in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, if Celtic can get a goal back in this game and make it 2-1 in the next kind of 10 or 15 minutes, I think we will see a few fouls start to come flying in and a few yellow cards come out, because, both sides are going to be so desperate to hold on to their lead for Rangers. And obviously Celtic will be so desperate to get back into it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, how both teams play it out, because, Rangers could quite easily, go to the other end and make this not embarrassing, but a pretty poor result for Celtic.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the past, teams winning 4 or 5-0, and they're coming forward now. We might see the second yellow card of the day here, which we do indeed. We have 2. Guess who's into the book?
Scott Brown.
It is indeed Scott Brown. Foul on Ryan Kent there. Wipes him out. Yellow card. We're off to the races, and we got a free kick for Rangers.
I said I would never suggest gambling, but if I was to put my money on someone getting yellow carded, I would have had my money back. I knew it.
Well, Jamie's put, here we go, a card fest. And Carl's put, imagine if Everton win the league. Do you think it could happen?
As they go forward in the post, as you've asked me the question, Everton have hit the post. It's a lovely, finessed, dinked ball to the back post by James Rodriguez. His passing is just unbelievable. It might be unmatched only by Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League sometimes. Richarlison comes and flies in with a diving header at the back post, but he can only head it off the upright. Oh, could have been 2-1, Josh.
Well, could have been indeed. Could have been potentially talking about maybe Everton going a little bit further in the league than over the last couple of years. There has been a change for Rangers, by the way. Brandon Barker has come off. Ryan Jack has come on for Rangers. So they've made an attacking change of their own. Of course, 2-0 up in this match as it currently stands. Jamie says, I don't think Everton can win the league. And Ben Allen's put, anything can happen this season. Very interesting how it's unfolded so far.
It's very interesting. But we'll have to see. And as you say, a defensive change from Rangers to bring on a CDM for a winger. Maybe a change of shape from Rangers, because I don't see Ryan Jack going on the wing, I'll be honest.
I mean, if he wants to, he can. But I mean, maybe they might go two up top here now and play Kent and Morelos together as two forwards. And just with the way he's looking like they're going to play that system. And, well, it's kind of the perfect way to run it, isn't it, really? You can have Ryan Kent with his eccentric pace bombing forward. And then, of course, Morelos doing the dirty work. But, he's been pretty poor today, Morelos, I have to say. He's not done much in terms of attacking opportunities.
It's just his bogey team. He just doesn't seem to be able to get off the ground when he's playing against Celtic. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's started to affect him now, confidence-wise, when he hears other people talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a stat that will constantly be thrown his way, the fact that he's never scored in an Old Firm. And I think when he gets that opportunity to score, it will be such a massive weight off his shoulders, because I think it's kind of the one thing that Celtic fans have over him. Oh, well, you've never scored against us. So until the day that happens, it'll always be on his mind.
Yeah, even if they can win here today, they'll just go, but he won Morelos. So
yeah, exactly. But Rangers trying to come forward here and make it 3-0. It's Morelos trying to start the counter-attack. Ryan Kent's gone onto the right-hand side, it looks like. So it still looks like they're trying to pioneer with a 4-3-3 here, which is interesting. Don't know who's going to go onto the left-hand side, but nothing comes of it, and poor chance there.
I'm just looking back at that chance which Hammers chipped to the back post for Richarlison. Lovely to peel away from Matip. And it's so unfortunate with his header to just hit the frame of the goal and bounce away. Who would you give the edge to? I know you're not watching the game, but from what I'm saying, are you getting a feel for who you think it is, or is it going to end a draw?
I mean, with the way it sounded in terms of the second half, it sounds like Everton have been the better of the two sides in terms of the opportunities. But, with half an hour left, I think it's so hard to call what's going to happen in derbies, because, quite easily anything can change, in a heartbeat. And Rangers are on the attack here. It looks like it's Ryan Jack who's come forward. Pings the ball towards Ryan Kent. Oh, it's not free. It should be free. It really should be free. And it's a gift of a ball to Ryan Kent in the box. He's completely unmarked. He screams for the ball. It's lofted towards him from, I think, Ryan Jack. He pings the ball into the middle of the box. He takes it on the volley. And Jarrod has his hands on his head, because I think he knows it should be 3-0.
Yes. And that is really killing the game at that point.
Well, they've got a corner either way here. There's a fumble at the back, and I think it's going to be given as a free kick to Celtic. Barker's going down there. But the player who got the block on, Christopher Ayer, once again, doing really, really well to get something on it. And before we took a quick look at the comments, because some people talk about James Rodriguez, they're going for it. 2 changes now for Celtic. Oliver Encham is coming off. And you could say an Old Firm hero of the past, Tom Rogic. He's had a big say in some of the Old Firm games in the last couple of years. He's come on. And Leigh Griffiths, he's coming onto the pitch as well. Coming off is going to be the Polish forward Patrick Kimala, who hasn't had much of an effect on this game. So Celtic going for it now.
But Tom Rogic as well, in a Betfred Cup semi-final, missed the penalty for Celtic that sent Rangers through. So, maybe it's ups and downs.
I think there'll be a few Celtic fans who will not want to hear that back in terms of the past. They'll want to remember the goals, the good times of Tom Rogic. But these are 2 players that have been infused with the Old Firm derby for so long that it kind of feels like something will happen between one of the 2, whether they get a goal or assist or do something important in this next kind of 25 minutes. But they've got to go for it now. And just very quickly, while the 2 games have gone a little bit quiet, Carlo said James Rodriguez is a quality player. I like him. I don't know why no other team went in for him. Jamie's saying about the 8th thing that I talked about earlier about Everton. He says, to be honest, I think Everton is doing the same as Norwich last season.
Oh.
Everyone's saying Norwich top 4 and Pookie is the GOAT. It's the exact same scenario. And then Kyle has said, I think Everton have a way better squad this season than Norwich had last season.
Yeah.
So Everton will be fine, in my opinion, which Jamie said he thinks 7th place.
That's still not the worst, really, for Everton. But, that's going to be it's offside. But speaking of James, he did have an opportunity just a few moments ago. It was a half chance. Drove into midfield. He went to curl it into the bottom right-hand corner. Simple enough for Adrian, who parried it out for, I think, a throw-in in the end. But, again, another chance for Everton.
They're having their opportunities, and the thing is, they've got to make the most of them, because you can quite easily see Liverpool going up the other end, having one slight chance and it going in the back of the net. That's what champions do. They go and grind out results, even when they're not playing at their very best. I think, in the second half, would you say they've been the worst of the two sides?
Yeah. I think there was a stat earlier, I can't remember if it was last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes, where Everton had 75% possession. And you don't see that against Liverpool very often. So there is a challenge here, though. It was for a bouncing ball between Mane and Digne. Digne's still down. It was a high foot, definitely. But I'm pretty sure, just as usual, VAR will check it.
Yeah, I think, VAR could reassure everybody with the decisions that he makes in terms of cards and shit. If you're on new streams, always do leave a like and a subscription. It's always greatly appreciated for every new subscriber. Of course, you can see on the bottom of the screen right now, currently standing Everton 1, Liverpool 1. Celtic 2-0 down to the Rangers. They've got a lot of work to do for both, pretty much all the teams in this game have got a lot of work to do in the two matches with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's hopefully it's going to be a grandstand finish, but it's a yellow for Sadio Mane. I think that's fair. I don't think there was much connection via the boot or anything like that. Just a contested challenge, and Digne got the worst of it. So a yellow's fair.
Absolutely, indeed. And as you would expect with this Celtic-Rangers game, Celtic starting to get back into it a little bit. They've made those attacking changes, brought on Rogic and Griffiths and Ajeti. They've pretty much got a stronger attack on the pitch now, I feel, than they had at the start of the game. And it's just vital that they get a goal back within the next 10 minutes to try and mount a comeback and really put the pressure on Rangers here. Because I think what's so important is in a game like this, not having fans in the stadium could be massive for Rangers, considering they're away from home.
Yeah, and I think it'll be hard. I think it's one of them things where to find motivation for comebacks, I feel that usually comes from the crowd. If you're 2 or 1-0 down, they'll cheer every time you get a corner and they'll will you to get that goal. I think without a crowd, you've got to do that all by yourself. It's really difficult.
Exactly. I mean, Celtic Park would usually be bouncing on a day like this, and you can picture it now. If they were 2-0 down with 20 minutes to go, the God knows how many fans would be, screaming and trying to get as much support for the players as possible. And you can see it kind of inflicting a bit of motivation to the home side. And just right now, it feels like it's going to be one of the biggest uphill battles for Celtic to get back into this game.
Yeah, as we've got another card. I think we're beating you in cards now. We're on 3. Andre Gomez has gone into the book for a cynical tackle to stop the counter after the ball was nicked from James in midfield. Just steps across Fabinho, made sure he wasn't going any further. And it's a yellow card.
Well, we'll have to see if we get a few more cards before the end of this game. Just having a quick look at the comments right now, because the boys in the chat, they are flying with questions and comments, which is fantastic to see. Ben, I'll put in, kind of looks like Liverpool has their foot resting on the gas, but seems uninspired at the same time. I think they will pick up pace in the last 15, 20 minutes. Jamie says, I think they're wearing Everton down, then they'll go full throttle. And then Kyle asks, what team do you guys support? But I'll answer the question for us, which is good to see. Thanks, buddy. He says, Josh on the left, of course. Rotherham United, Kieran on the right, Hull City. Bernardo is Spurs. And Kyle supports Manchester United.
Oh, well, there you go. Got all looking forward to the game later, of course. They play Newcastle.
some big games today. I look down the list and you kind of see the 4 Premier League games going on. They're all quite equally as big in their own context. I mean, Newcastle Man United back in the day was a massive fixture in the 90s. And I think even now, Newcastle on form, Man United off the form, should be an interesting game indeed.
Yeah, go Linton. Just a great player.
Incredible on his day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Will he score tonight?
The question should be, how many will he score tonight, Josh? That should be the real question. But obviously, we'll all miss the 3 p.m. game because they're charging £15 for it, so no one's going to watch it. So we'll know what happens in Chelsea Southampton.
Yeah, I think most people will be watching. There'll be more people watching it on Total Sportec than there is on the actual box office service itself, which I definitely didn't advertise Total Sportec there for you to go and watch it on there. But it will be very quiet on the box office today. And then there's one other game going on, isn't there? Arsenal Man City. It's not even a derby, but it's a great match in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Arsenal looking like they've turned a corner under Mikel Arteta. It's Arteta v Guardiola again. Arteta got the better of him in the FA Cup. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup. And of course, I don't know why you're not saying this, Josh. It's Rotherham versus Norwich as well. It's Hull.
We're not Premier League though. That's the thing. We're not. When you compare the game sizes, we're not as unfortunately we're not as top tier, are we, in terms of our fixtures?
Well. Oh, it's 2-1. It's literally out of nothing. It's out of nothing. It's 2-1 for Liverpool. I have no idea. Oh, unbelievable. Everton have been in control. And as the guy said in the chat, you can't count Liverpool out. It's Mo Salah. I'm just trying to get a replay because I see it comes from Yerry Mina, who's trying to clear the ball. He flicks it. It falls to Salah, instinctively half volleys it straight into the bottom right-hand corner. Henderson tries to get the cross in. Mina clears with a back heel. Half volley, instantly. Salah into the bottom corner. Brilliant finish on the half volley because he doesn't even have a second to think about it.
Wow. And it's as we said before, champions elect. That's how they win games. Yeah. They come into these matches and they might not be on the front foot, but they come out and get results. I mean, you said a moment ago in terms of the possession that they've had, Everton against Liverpool. And now Liverpool are 2-1 up. Things are going to have to change here if Everton want to come out with something. There's about, 15 minutes left?
Around that, and with that change, Andre Gomez has been replaced by Sylvie Gigerson. So if there's a man to get Everton back into it, Gylfi's the boy.
Well, he scored 2 at the weekend in the international fixtures, so that will give him a bit of confidence. But Liverpool 2-1 up with 15 minutes left. This has been a fantastic derby in terms of the goals because, 3 goals in a Merseyside fixture probably hasn't been seen for about 100 years.
And it has been a good game overall, but it's, again, not same old with Everton. I feel bad saying that, but, they give Liverpool a good game, but they never end up on the winning side. And that, again, looks like it's going to be the case.
Yeah, you've got to say they've played much better than they have in past fixtures. Feel like in a match like this, Everton they've showed up and really give Liverpool a good test. But obviously, 2-1 down, you could say they've had a good game, but it means nothing if you don't come out with the 3 points or a point at least.
That's what I think it'll be like for Everton fans as well. Of course, they wanted to see a good performance today, but more importantly, they wanted something to show for it. And they've been really good today. And they've just got to pick themselves up off the ground with 15 minutes to go, because if the heads drop, it could become 3 or 4. And then you suddenly look at this performance so much differently.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, because there's still plenty of time left, it could quite easily happen. Banana put in the chat.
It's nicked it off Keane. He does get back and tackle. Sorry, Josh, that's because it happened right on the edge of the box. I thought they may be able to create something, but carry on, sorry.
They've got to watch out, Everton. Pressure's on them now. But I really hope Callum Wilson, the knobby is, scores 2 on United. I have him on the bench, but I hope it's another good luck wish. Then, of course, Sylvie Gigerson. It's a running joke with us. We keep swapping players' names around and putting this like the first initial of the first name. Second name is the first. It's
inside joke between me and Josh. I apologise. It's okay.
We do like Gylfi Sigurdsson, though. He's a good player on his day. And then Jamie put, yeah, he's from the nation, which we do not speak of, which we'll not mention Iceland. But 2-1 Liverpool right now. Still 2-0 to Rangers. Of course, as I said before, of course, Celtic have got to come up for, go a little bit further forward. And to be honest, they haven't really done much at all. I think the highlight of the last couple of minutes is Steven Gerrard blowing his nose and the camera's not moving away from him. And Neil Lennon picking some out of his teeth. That's about as good as it's got over the last couple of minutes.
Very lovely, but it almost got even better for Everton there. They had a chance early, but now that was a real chance as DCL managed to take it on his chest from a long ball, but Robertson covered. And I feel this is going to be a really open end to this Merseyside derby, and that's what I'm hoping for anyway. You know, you've got to think Everton have still got Bernard, Alex Iwobi to possibly bring on and add a bit of pace into the game.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one more change they can make, and they've got to make that change be an attacking one you'd expect with like 15 minutes left to go. And somebody like Iwobi, yes, he might not be the most amazing player in the world, but he's someone attacking, and you've got to go for it in a fixture like this. You don't want to be the team that comes out of this with a loss. I mean, even if you can go out there and get a 2-2 draw, we said about it before, it'd be fantastic for Everton to get a point in this game.
Again, Trent Alexander-Arnold finds Salah via the through ball. You know what he's going to do? He's going to try to cut on that left. Michael Keane spotted it fantastically, but it still only earns a corner for Liverpool. But they've got to be wary because they are attacking. But if there's a better counter-attacking team out there, let me know, because Liverpool are just that good. As Diogo Jota is going to come on.
Interesting change there. Jamie says, I said it. Christ has compelled me now because I said a certain international team's name. But I'll just put Everton looking gassed out at the moment. And then Jamie put Everton could be the best team in the world and would still lose the Merseyside derby.
Great save. Jordan Pickford. Great save from a Joel Matip header. Again, I need a replay to see if it was camera.
Yeah, I was about to say another one for the highlight reel for Jordan today.
No, I think that is a genuine highlight reel save. It's a free header from Joel Matip, and it's going to the right. Great reflexes from Pickford, who gets a strong palm on it. And that really is his best attribute. It's his shot stopping at some points. And it's a good header, but a really good save by Pickford to get that one out.
Really good. I mean, Bernardo put that header. He thought it looked in the back of the net. So that just must prove how good of a save it was.
Yeah, credit to Pickford. He does like a camera save. I do need replays to see how good it was, but that was a good one.
Well, still 2-0 to Rangers in this game. We are we've just now hit in the 80th minute. There's 10 minutes left. And it still feels like there's no sense of urgency for Celtic to get back into this. But who knows? One opportunity can change everything up, just as it did in the Liverpool game. But 10 minutes left, 2-0. And they're in. It could be a goal. He's round the keeper. Ayeti, he's got him. Oh, he's missed it. And that was the chance. That was the chance. And it was Lee Griffiths, not Ayeti. That was the chance. It came out of nowhere. It was a ball that looked. It was Christopher Ayer who came forward. Ball was laid off into the path of Ayeti, who switched it towards the Lee Griffiths, who was one-on-one with the keeper. He gets round McGregor, and he's a little bit too heavy with the touch. And it was that one chance that we said that could have gone into the back of the net. It's a heavy touch, and it's still 2-0 to Rangers. A little bit lucky. It's not 2-1.
Sounds like it as well. And a final substitution for Everton. It is Alex Iwobi. He's going to come on for Abdoulaye Doucouré as Firmino was replaced by Jota. But what a chance for Celtic.
Massive chance. And McGregor does so well there. He comes out and he makes it so hard for Lee Griffiths to take the chance on that. His touch is just a little bit too heavy. And while they looked at the replay, Rangers have got a free kick here. It's in the exact same position as it was for the first goal. Barkas has had to come out, and a free kick's been given to Celtic anyway. But remember, Connor Goldson's still on for his hat-trick here. I think he might want to try and get the match ball from this game with 10 minutes left.
I mean, if he could, that was incredible. There was a chance there just for Liverpool, but it was a long-ranged effort that Jordan Pickford dealt with worse than he did with the wonder save. As in typical Jordan Pickford fashion, the easier the save, the more difficult he makes it. But nothing came of it in the end.
Jamie's put, good God, Everton. They're bloody Adrian in goal. How are you losing? Kyle then asked the question, who's worse, Adrian, Pickford or Kepa? Jamie replied, that's like asking which STD would you rather have?
I'd go with Adrian.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Adrian because I think the thing is for Kepa, it's more short of confidence than anything. And I think Pickford, yeah, he does make some mistakes, but I'd probably go Adrian.
Yeah, stinky Adrian.
Has he been stinky tonight, though? Has he had many kind of saves to make, or it's been a quiet day for him?
Quiet day. He had one where he came out at the feet of Calvert-Lewin, which he did, an accomplished save, I would say. But that's really all he's had to do. He was a bit poor for the Michael Keane goal. He needs to work on his wrist strength because it was poor. Digne on the overlapping run can get a cross in. DCL heads into the bottom corner. It's 2-2. Can you believe it? England's number 9 scores again. It's
unbelievable.
2-2. It was an overlapping run from Digne on the left, from a James Rodriguez pass, back post, lofted. Who heads it in? DCL, England's number 9.
Well, we said it was going to surely happen. We thought on a game like this, a momentous occasion, that DCL would surely pop up in a game, and he has. There's 10 minutes left, 2-2, game on.
What a wonderful header from a wonderful player that is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Robertson's near him. Joe Gomez is nowhere near him. And it's a free header, uncontested, into the bottom corner. Adrian couldn't do anything about it, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, the important thing is it's 2-2. And again, the game's back in Everton's hands technically again here, because when they were winning the game, they were dominating for large spells. And Celtic are coming forward here. Rogic with a long-range effort. Doesn't come to anything, though. There's been 2 changes in this game, 2 extra changes. On has come David Turnbull and Greg Taylor. So 2 extra changes. They've used all 5 of those up now. And Shane Duffy has got the 3rd yellow card. I'd make it 4 yellow cards because Shane Duffy's gone into the book. And Alfredo Morelos has finally gone into the book as well. Off the players tussling each other.
I think you beat me now, but that's a ball through to Mane. Saved by Pickford. Rebound. Jota off the line. I don't know what's going on. Mane was through-balled by Salah. Pickford comes out and makes a good save. The rebound then falls to Jota, who volleys it. Mane heads it as he tries to help it in, but he just heads it past the post. Oh, my God. Unbelievable.
Well, Jamie said, Jesus, could you simp any harder over Dominic Calvert-Lewin? DCL might be the number 9, but he'll never see 10.
No, the thing is with DCL... Again, if you've been a part of the channel for a while, I may have called Dominic Calvert-Lewin's rise to fame about a year ago, and people didn't believe me. They all laughed at me.
They're not laughing now, are they?
No.
Oh, we got a free kick here for Celtic, which is just behind the halfway line. It's going to be lobbed into the box by Scott Brown. He hits the ball long. And it's straight back to Rangers. Connor Goldson. There's been another change. Morelos has been substituted off. Of course, don't want to risk him getting sent off. Edson has come on, and it's a 3 versus 2 here for Rangers. They might be able to get through on goal. And they can't. It's unlucky. Good work from Frimpong.
Oh, my God. Good ending to these games. As James is still down, but Liverpool are going to refuse to kick out a play because they don't have to. It's a switch to Jota while James is down, so there'll be controversy no matter what. Robertson crosses it in. The cross comes to nothing, and it's retrieved by Alexander-Arnold and then tackled by Digne. James still down.
Jamie said his rise to fame, he's got to win a golden boot first.
Well, you can be famous without winning a golden boot.
Well, I mean, of course, Jamie, he wants high standards from Calvert-Lewin. He wants a golden boot.
Yeah.
We've got a free kick here.
Wait till this year, mate. He's top of the goal scoring rankings. He's gonna get it this year.
We've got a 30-yard free kick. Tavernier's going to hit it, and it's a good save by Barkas. Just tips it over the left-hand side of the post. Rangers have got a corner here. 3 minutes left of normal time. There might be about a minute or two of additional time. Unless something incredible happens here, Rangers are going to nick the first Old Firm derby of the season. But let's see what happens here, because they've got a corner, as I said, and they're going to play it short and just waste some time now. I thought maybe, of course, they don't want to bring the players forward and gift Celtic an opportunity on goal. So it's going to be at a corner flag with Cedric Itten. And it looks like Rangers are going to get the victory here. But, of course, your game is still 2-2 with a couple of extra minutes left. God knows what's going to happen.
I know, the throw-in got taken quickly. Even the cameraman wasn't quick enough to spot it. Hammers is back up and he's released Richarlison on the left. He's got Joe Gomez. He's got runners finally entering the box, but things have just slowed down. It's retrieved to James. The cross is going to come in straight into the hands of Adrian, but then Liverpool are going to come straight back the other way.
Well, it's not really much going on here. They've got a throw-in Rangers, but it was just interesting, as I said once again, because it's behind closed doors and there's no fans. It's just interesting to hear what's going on. There's expletives just being thrown around about the place right now. Barisic saying a few very nice words to Shane Duffy. You can quite clearly hear him saying "fuck you" over and over again to Shane Duffy. But yeah, it's just interesting, as we said before, kind of listening to some of the kind of talking points of the game with no fans in the stadium.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and of course, loves to compliment players. Does Borna Barisic on their achievements? There's a really soft free kick given away by Everton here. I think more of a soft decision by the ref than anything else. But Yerry Mina was behind Mane. Mane threw himself to the ground, and it's a free kick for Liverpool. Trent and Robertson over it. We'll see what will happen. Trent will go for it, and it'll be wide, but very close.
We got one more change here for Rangers. Joe Aribo's coming onto the pitch. Scott Arfield coming off, of course, just reassuring now that they're going to get that victory against Celtic here. As I said, I don't think there's going to be much additional time. There's about a minute of the 90 left. I think we might get maybe 2 minutes tops if we're lucky. There hasn't really been many, no injuries or major kind of points where the game's been paused for a few minutes. So very good result for Rangers. It's looking like Celtic are going to be 4 points behind Rangers.
Well, if you'd have told a Rangers fan that, after not even 10 games, they would be very, very happy.
It's a massive difference. Of course, I know Celtic do have that additional game in hand that they didn't play a few weeks ago, but every point counts in these Old Firm fixtures for the two sides, because they pretty much are the title deciders. And there's 3 minutes of additional time in this game. Of course, you'd expect now Rangers to just waste a little bit more time on the clock.
Oh my God, there's a sending off. What?
Who's been sent off?
I think it's Richarlison. And I tell you what, I'm not sure what's happening here. Mike Oliver's got the red card out already.
Now, the thing is, because it's a red card, it can get checked by VAR.
Yeah, I know that. Thiago and Richarlison were going for a ball in the middle. It was a contested challenge. And Thiago, here we go. We get a replay now. Yerry Mina wins the header. Oh, let me have a look. Sorry, Josh. I know I'm just going to be silent. I'm just going to try and see if I can see. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised by that at all.
Is it a few hands being flown about? Kind of.
No. It was a contested ball in the middle, and they're both going for it full force. And I think Richarlison just has his foot up in the challenge, up at the just on the shin. So studs are showing, so I can kind of see why that might get given. I'm not sure if Bingy will check it, maybe, because it's not the worst red card I will have ever seen.
But it can quite easily be given as a red card as well for the foul.
I can see it. Maybe it's one of them where it looks worse in real time. But Richarlison has been sent off in this game. So Everton are down to 10 men.
And how many minutes are left of the actual game itself?
30 seconds, but we don't know about added time. Richarlison has been. I'm not. It's one of them. I can kind of understand it from what I'm seeing in the tackle. I think that's a justifiable red card, and I don't think VAR will change its mind.
No, and well, Everton down to 10 men. There'll probably be a little bit more additional time because of the red card, which makes it very interesting for Liverpool, of course, if they could try and nick a winner. But we've got 30 seconds left of Celtic Rangers here. It's a goal kick. Sorry, not a goal kick. It's at the goalkeeper right now with McGregor, and what a good victory this is going to be for Rangers. What a performance. And, well, it wasn't the striker who turned up. It was Connor Goldson with 2.
I know. You don't need a striker if you've got a centre back, and Fabinho is going to be replaced by Gigi Wijnaldum for the last 5 minutes of added time, and what would have been a toe for toe ending now after that could just become a barrage from Liverpool.
Full time, Rangers have the first Old Firm victory of the season. And it's a massive victory. As I said before, Connor Goldson with 2 goals in this fixture to win it for Rangers. And I've got to say, Celtic fans, I think, will be very, very annoyed with this performance because they come out of this game looking at the stats with no shots on target in the entire 90 minutes. That's how poor they were today.
Yeah, that is terrible.
As for Rangers, what a victory. But we've got a few minutes left of Everton-Liverpool. God knows what's going to happen now with Everton down to 10 men.
Well, I think it'll just be constant attacks from Liverpool. And yeah, I'm just looking back at the red card. I think it definitely deserves one. And it's a 1-2. Mane and Jota have tackled each other in the box, though. But they'll come again because there's no out ball anymore, Josh.
Oh, well, this is it. It's a flurry of attacks, isn't it, now for Liverpool? They see that there's a window of opportunity with a few minutes left. Oh,
it's a goal. 3-2.
And he's in.
Jordan Henderson has scored. I do not believe it. Right.
And it's right at the death.
Thiago, reverse ball to Mane, who's on the left-hand side. This time it's his turn to provide. He puts it into the box. Henderson breezes past it with his left foot, tries to kind of carry the ball over into the corner. They'll check this for offside, though. And I think Jordan Pickford should do better. I don't believe it.
And it's poor. I've just switched it on just to see I am behind you, so I will never be ahead. And it's poor from Pickford. He's got to do better. We talked about mistakes. He has to do better, in my opinion.
The ball's bounced in front of him. We talked about a strong palm earlier, but that is a flappy hand that he has put in that, and Liverpool have a 3-2 lead. They're checking VAR.
That's onside for me.
Got to be on.
He's miles onside.
Oh, they're going to count it as off.
It's been given as offside.
Nothing's been given yet.
To me, that looks onside.
They're going to give this as offside.
That's on. If they're basing it on the hand of Yerry Mina, he's onside. It looks like he's going to be given as offside.
They're going to give it as offside, aren't they?
I mean, you know that when they sit there with the lines.
No goal.
No goal. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh wow.
I thought we'd cancelled this stuff out of the game. That is a horrific decision. By the way, not enough credit for the no-look pass by Thiago, but that is an absolutely outrageous decision for that to be given as offside.
That is honestly, if you're not watching the game right now, we are talking about a slender margin in terms of the offside. It is a whisker from being onside, and it's decisions like that that really cost the game. I mean, even Benalla said that is criminal.
DCL now, though. He's on the left-hand side. There's only 45 seconds to go. He's found
Well, there'll be more than
James. I don't know
45
if
seconds here. There'll probably be another 2 minutes of time left because of the VAR calls now.
Oh, I don't know, but that is an unbelievably bad decision. Iwobi picks it up though, and there's Allen driving through the middle. Tackled though, Liverpool, one last counter surely, 20 seconds to go. They've switched it to the left-hand side where Jota will come forward. Robertson's making the overlap. Robertson is hit too hard by Diogo Jota, and that might be it. But I tell you what, a lucky escape for Everton because Jordan Pickford again making another mistake there.
Well, Jamie said Henderson should have cut his fingernails, would have been onside otherwise.
It wasn't Henderson, it was Mane that was offside. From the build-up,
it's a harsh decision, and Pickford is quite a lucky man in terms of the mistake that he made there. And it's criminal. It's criminal. If you watch the game, it's criminal. You can't be deciding goals from the slightest of margins.
That is terrible.
And it feels like every single couple of weeks, the debate of VAR is going to keep coming back. It was only a few weeks ago we were talking about the Callum Wilson penalty decision, which was given on Eric Dyer. And now the major talking point of the weekend could be that decision there.
Yeah. Great footwork by Iwobi in the bottom right corner to earn a free kick, but you might as well send some people forward if you're Everton. You might as well try and actually have one last roll of the dice, because if you can win this with 10 men, then it's absolutely unbelievable. James will stand over this free kick.
Well, that's the thing. That extra time is being played from the VAR decision. So if they could win it, it'd be a bit of an incredible end to the game.
DCL, back post header. Adrian catches it, but now he's going to come the other way. And that, I think, is game over in what was the most entertaining Merseyside derby for years. Wow.
And I mean, you have to look at it. Of course, I've only just kind of tuned in for the last couple of minutes because the Old Firm derby. You have to look at it and think, is it deserved for both teams? Is a point the right thing to be given? Or, of course, I know the decision there is unjust, but did Everton prove today that they can fight against the very best? Because we did see them against Tottenham, of course, at the start of the season, which they of course won that game. But Liverpool is no doubt their biggest test of the season so far.
Yeah, they did, but straight red for Richarlison now. Is that 3 games, I think?
That will be indeed.
If it's a straight red, so that lack of striker to have as a backup is difficult. But obviously, he distributed on the left wing, so maybe you bring in Iwobi or Bernard, but they can compete against the best. But again, question marks over that goalkeeper. Jordan Pickford made some great saves in the game, but he almost cost his team again at the end there with another decision. And if there wasn't enough controversy, Josh, I said I had the tick box for an entertaining game. We got the red, and we almost got an unbelievable. What a game of football!
And I mean, you got the VAR in there as well. And to be honest, you can see now, of course, Everton stay top of the league no matter what happened anyway today. Liverpool into second place on 10 points, 3 points behind their Liverpool rivals. And to be honest, with the way that it looks, I think Ancelotti looked quite happy there with the result. I think he knows that in this type of situation that maybe Everton have been a little bit lucky to come out with the point in this game. But the VAR decision will be something that will no doubt be talked about a lot this week because, as I said earlier, the Callum Wilson penalty one was talked about for quite a while. We're coming back once again to these offside decisions. It's marginal.
Marginal is actually being very polite, Josh. That is not offside. In a million years, that is not offside. I don't care about your fucking hair length lines that are coloured in red that says he's not offside. And it's going to be a problem that we keep talking about for however long this continues, because I think we said about the Jordan Pickford challenge that it was his line of his shirt that was offside in that instance as well. And if not, he's sent off. Everything changes with that decision at the end there. And I just want to take a breath and have a lie down, to be honest with you, Josh.
I mean, it's another Premier League classic. I mean, the Premier League has been incredible since it's come back. It's another game that had everything that you could possibly want. 4 goals, VAR drama, and a red card, full time. I mean, I've put there it's Everton 2, Liverpool 3. Let me take that off because it is Everton 2, Liverpool 2. Of course, that goal was cancelled out at the end. And then, of course, the other game, the other big derby today, the Old Firm derby, 2-0 to Rangers, 2 goals from Connor Goldson. Celtic without a shot on target in the entire 90 minutes. They just did not turn up. But what a day of football. And it's still to continue with some incredible derbies and fixtures still to come today, because it was one of the questions we're going to ask at half-time. Inter Milan, AC Milan is at 5 o'clock. Arsenal, Manchester City at 5:30. There's still some very good fixtures to come. And of course, the boys in the chat are talking about the game between Newcastle and Man United. Kel says, "Great stream, lads. Enjoyed it. I will go now and watch Man United tonight play boring football, crappy defending, concede goals, lose, get angry, and then throw my TV out of the window." Thanks very much, guys.
Sounds good. No worries.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Just before we go, as always, here's a quick look at some of the stuff you are new on the channel. As always, do leave a like and a subscription if you have enjoyed today's Derby Day watch along, because it has been mental indeed. Here's some of the content that is still to come on the channel over the next couple of days. The Champions League is back on the 20th of October. We'll be covering every game live on the channel and every goal over the Champions League. You do not want to miss it on the 20th and 21st of October, the first set of group stage games. 22nd of October, we're back with the Europa League. Celtic versus AC Milan is our game of the week. Going to be an interesting game to watch that, of course. Both teams facing off in derbies. And then what a derby this is. El Clasico, 24th of October, 2:45, kick-off at 3 p.m. Our first La Liga fixture of the season. It is going to be an absolute cracker of a match. Of course, some incredible fixtures still to come over the next couple of weeks. So do subscribe as always. It is greatly, greatly appreciated indeed. Now, do keep your eyes out because, of course, there's some incredible fixtures. As I said, Arsenal, Man City, and AC Milan, Inter Milan to come. I'm pretty sure we've still got lots of drama to come. It's only 2:30 in the UK, and we've had some incredible matches today, haven't we, already?
We have, and hopefully, everyone, every other team picks up from where these games have left off. And I mean, we talked about derby days. Will it be the same without a crowd? It may very well have been better in terms of game quality.
I mean, I'd probably say that more about the Everton game than the Celtic Rangers one, because I think Celtic didn't turn up really at all in that match. I mean, Rangers certainly did turn up, but honestly, fantastic set of fixtures to kick off your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Bernal says, time for breakfast. Cheers, lads. Good luck to Rotherham and Hull today. And a big thank you, Bernaldo. And big thanks to everybody that turned up for today's stream. Of course, if you are new, do leave a like and subscription as always. A big thank you to Kieran for watching what was an incredible Merseyside derby with about 1,000 talking points that will no doubt be talked about for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to thank me to watch games like that. I think I could do that every day of my life if this was what it was like. But thank you, Josh, for covering the Old Firm, and I'd like to think we've done a very good Derby Day coverage.
I like to think we have as well, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it indeed. Do keep guys there. There might be a very unexpected stream later on. I might do another one today, just because there's just so many good fixtures going on. So do keep F5ing throughout the day, because you might see that we've gone live at some point with another one of the incredible fixtures. But as for now, thank you very much for joining us. Very greatly appreciated indeed. And hopefully we will see you guys again in the near future. But enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And we will see you again soon. Goodbye.